I'll have the tuna.
No crust?
No crust.
I love this part. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. For those 10 seconds or less, I'm free.
Let's go!
Monica! It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Go time!
Doesn't get better than this!
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.
Pop it up, pack it in. Let us begin. I'm your host, Sully, and with us, I brought the #1 car racers. Introducing the show, film geek herself, Kathy Bright, is here with us tonight.
Hello!
Returning is the partner in crime and invincible superhero himself, Hans.
Oh, yeah. This is like, I've got to be close to double digits by now, right?
Josh Hansen, my dude. Yep. How you been,
Love
my
it.
dude?
Always happy to be here.
Returning, film editor and director himself, Rick Ives.
Because it's about family.
Yep. And much like Rick Ashley, he's never going to give you up.
Truth.
I can't believe I didn't get Coronas. I screwed that up.
There's no Corona tonight. You're drinking light, Bud Light.
Oh, man.
Yeah, big mistake.
How many drinks would you estimate you have on each movie outing?
Oh, man.
Especially for Fast and Furious.
I mean, I
It
got
helps.
a few in me already, but that was just from work.
Oh, there you go. Hey, it helps.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to figure out what the runtime would be for this franchise. Is there anyone that's longer than that? Maybe Harry Potter?
You know,
Maybe
they
James
would.
Bond.
That's a good point. I think they would still make money even if they were free hours. Because, I mean, if you can have a free hour slugfest like Transformers, what's to stop you from making a free hour Fast and Furious movie?
I won't be surprised if 10 Part 2 is 3 hours long.
Oh, Vin Diesel's totally going to ask for a 2-part. He's going to pull a Hobbit and say, we got to split this into 3 acts.
As long as they have an ending for it,
Sully,
I'm okay.
Sully, you're laughing, but that's already been announced.
Oh, actually, I didn't know. Okay, wow.
There was going to be 10, and then they split 10 into 2, and now they're splitting 2 into 2.
Oh, so they're.
So I'm pretty
doing
sure
what
it's a
they did with-
3-parter.
So
Yeah.
like Mission Impossible. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Family. Okay, so let's circle around. How did we get into this? You know, serious, then campy, then serious again. Now both toned franchise. I'll let Rick go.
What's your question? How did we get into this tonight?
How did we get
or
into
how
this?
did it...
Just in general, how did you get into this twisted saga that we're?
Oh
about to
man,
give a
I
rating?
watched the first Fast and Furious in high school. I think I was a sophomore. I had just got my driver's permit.
Hot
my
chicks
parents-
and cool cars, man.
My parents were out of town, and I at that time I walked to the movie theater because it was close enough. With my friends. I wanted to drive so badly when I got home, and the car was locked in the garage because they knew I would try to take the car out.
That's good parenting.
Ironically,
I don't
you're
think
trying
I
to see
saw
a car movie, and your biggest enemy is the car.
Truth. So I don't think I saw any of these in theaters after that until, man, I don't think I watched any because, you know, they were kind of falling off in quality there for a little bit. And then 6
What
was
is
so
quality when we're talking
6
about
was
fast
so
food?
good that I maybe it was 5 that was good enough that brought me back in. And I said, from now on, I'm watching all of these in theaters, and I've been there ever since.
Perfect.
So I'm a huge fan of this franchise. It's just like totally bananas to me, and I love
Bananas
all the
is the best
twists,
way.
and I love how like people die and come back. Like that's part of the game. And
Yes. Much like
uh,
Michael Myers, much like Kenny on South Park, they have a respawn meter.
I love that even minor characters like have an arc over the whole series. And
The
I just love how they keep
T1000 makes less
one-upping
sense.
the
Oh my God.
stunts, and I love that so many of the stunts are practical. At least for a while they were.
It's really hard to tell which ones are and
Man.
aren't because they do a mixture of both.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah,
with Justin
totally.
Lin's involved.
Yeah.
Yes, usually the ones he does.
So I'm just like a fan, man. I know it's dumb, and I know it's popcorn and like fast food, but dude, I'm here for it.
There you go.
So
So,
no shame.
Josh, how would you describe this Domino's and Pizza Hut mixture of a franchise?
I mean, it is wild. You know, it started off as basically just a
Serious, like
Point Break copy,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Not even a copy, like a photocopy.
Yeah, just like almost
Photocopy.
really beat for beat. And they were stealing DVD players, I believe. That's
Yeah.
right. And now they're going to space and it's insane where it's
man.
gone. Like, I mean, I think I saw the first one. I was in high school. That was what, 2001. So I was probably like a sophomore, junior, about the same age as you.
Mhm.
And then it, it fell off a little bit. I mean, the third one, I actually really liked the third one, but that didn't really even have anybody in it.
At the time, that was like it was supposed to be a direct to DVD, I think, even.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
And the fact that it's a prequel, like it takes place after what, 6? I think between 6 and 7 in the
Yeah,
timeline.
needlessly
That's right.
convoluted.
It's,
Yes.
it's absurd. So good though.
Oh man. Yeah, Kathy, how did you get into this very deliberately inconsistent franchise?
Well, obviously, I've realized I'm a lot older than the rest of y'all because I was out of high school.
Y'all, now your accent's showing.
She was already street racing when this came around.
Yeah, man.
Well, I've always been a big NASCAR fan, so I've always kind of enjoyed the car scene. But I remember I saw the original in the theater, and after they have the little, measuring contest, and then as they're leaving that area to go out to the first street race, I just remember turning. I guess it was my ex-husband at the time. I'm assuming that's who I saw it with. I remember looking at him going, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing, with the mix of the cars, the music
The
drop
rap music.
there.
I think
It was
DMX
just-
plays in the first one.
I was sold within that first 15 minutes of the first movie. And like they said, 2 and 3, I love 3, 2, not so much. But then when the fourth one came back around and we got Vin and Paul and everybody back, it was just like that love just blossomed all over again. And I've been on
Nice.
board ever since.
Yeah,
Nice.
5 definitely got me back into it.
Yep. I think it did for a lot of people. So I'm kind of on a lot of the guys' same bandwagon, growing up, everyone's like, it's cool, man. I'm like, yeah, but is it as good at, I was more of an older movie kind of fan. I was more into stuff like Speed and definitely Point Break type stuff. Training Day, and even other stuff that was a mixture, like Evil Dead or Hunt for Red October, just respectable blockbusters. And I was kind of more into Triple X growing up, but then I think this one I slowly started to respect, at least the first one, just because the dialogue was reasonable, surprisingly, for a movie of that kind. And I just love Michelle Rodriguez so much as an actress. She's just a very invaluable, tough gal actress, especially if you've seen Girl Fight, which is just a very inspirational drama. I think that's just it. When it came back, and you had all these other blockbuster movies, it just was interesting seeing how, a precursor to the Marvel versus DC, matches. It was interesting just seeing how who's going to try and outdo each other this summer. The summer movies kind of back in swing again. And I'm a Mystery Science Theater guy, so I'm into all kinds of cheesy movie watching, even if you're not enjoying it. There's nothing. You will always remember these wacky times when you go to the theaters with your friends, and see these wacky movies.
So
So
the whole audience is into it, like cheering, and they're gonna be like, "Oh no way, get out
Yeah.
of here!" All together, throwing
I thought
popcorn.
my siblings would not even be into this, but when they started revamping it, they started talking about them too, and I'm like, really
Well,
interesting.
it's cheesy, but it knows what it is. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
and
weird part. Yeah,
that's what makes it work.
Well, hold on. Almost everyone knows what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of changed. Like around 5, I think they leaned into it, but now
I
they're
mean,
taking themselves a
specifically,
little too
I
seriously.
don't know if Vin ever really knew what it was. He was just
he is kind
he
of a
thought it was something
Stallone
else.
type where he kind of takes himself seriously, even though he knows it's
Well, he can
full of it.
act.
He can act. Yes, that is true.
Same with Stallone. I mean, they've just both chosen to mostly do.
They chose to take it to the bank.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen Strays and Saving Private Ryan and even Knockaround Guys. It is interesting how that's a totally different Vin that you get there than what you get with the family. You know, so I'm gonna let you guys rank this like on a 5-star scale. Who wants to go first?
We're gonna talk about some of these as we go, or what?
Yeah, we can do it in. I'll let you kind of.
Let's
rank
do
all the ones you've seen.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
do
I
like,
ranked them 1 through 11, so
That's what I did too, and I forgot I didn't even include Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Let's just talk about them in order, and we can just give our rating at the end. So, the 2001 original, helmed by Rob Cohen, who would also do Triple X. He'd done a bunch of episodes of Miami Vice, and this almost got an R rating. Can you believe?
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were like, "Hey,
Really?
it's good."
Why?
Yeah, because they were way more. It wouldn't often be for content. Half the time, it would just be, "Well, this is going to encourage people to vandalize or street race." I'm like, "No, it's
got it.
not. Those are just stupid people."
I think a couple of the scenes, I'm that girl who watches the commentary on movies. It's my
yeah,
thing.
I love that.
And
especially when they're sarcastic ones, they're very
right. And Rob was talking about that. And I know the scene with when Vince gets hooked onto the truck towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I think they had to dial that back a lot to keep the PG-13 rating because they thought it was too gory.
Got it.
Which is so weird because there is no gore, but I know what you mean. They just thought it was too intense. Yeah.
Yeah, too
Well,
many
you can see
close-ups on
it's
all
still
those.
kind of bloody.
Yeah.
But they don't focus on it. So
Mhm.
that makes sense.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, it gave like an interesting look into a subculture I don't think a lot of people knew was happening. Really,
Crime
right?
Underground. Yeah.
Yeah. Once in a while, a movie comes along like that where it like taps into something that not everyone knows about. Like Swingers did it, right? With
Yeah.
like swing music making a comeback and dancing like that. Nobody knew about that, and then all of a sudden, it was
Yeah.
huge.
Absolutely. The Birdcage talked about, conservative families, marrying their daughter to a gay family,
So it's fun when a
Yeah.
movie can like tap into something that's already happening, but not quite everyone gets it, and that's what this
Yeah,
one
it
just
didn't make the
nailed.
front line, but people who are in it, there's word of mouth.
Taking a subculture to mainstream.
Yeah,
Well,
And that's-
especially with pre-internet,
And that's what Rob says in his commentary when he talks about it. He said he wanted to make it as realistic as he could because he fell in love with that scene when he saw it on the streets. And that's why in that opening street race, those are all real
all
drivers
real,
and they're
yeah.
real cars.
It
Yeah,
feels
all
real.
the action's practical, which probably why it still holds up.
Absolutely. Especially when they're using the harpoons and they're like, "You ready? Let's do it."
So
I don't-
yeah, it's a Point Break like clone, but
Yeah.
it has something else going for it to just give it a different flavor. That's what I think
Yeah,
kind of took off a little bit.
it's a very watchable movie. It's pretty dated compared to the other ones, but at least it's interesting seeing how they visually incorporate how the crew works, what they do and do not do, how they
Feels
have to
like
be
a
backed
totally
by-
different franchise than where they are now.
It's kind of a precursor to Grand
Complete-
Theft.
yeah, because it's so small
Was
Yeah.
Grand,
Yeah.
compared to where they are now.
was
Well,
Grand
they've
Theft
definitely
Auto
moved
and
away
Need for
from the
Speed
street
already out?
racing part of it.
But you know what's funny is if you go back and watch that original one, how much of the like I don't know how to describe it, but the DNA of what Fast and Furious is there, like in the
Yeah.
first one, right? Like barbecues and hanging out, partying, and a street race. Like you got to have at least one street race, and like a little bit of crime and a little bit of cops. Are they the good guys or the bad guys? It's all there.
Yeah.
All the characters are likable too. you want to spend time with them. Which
Yeah,
helps,
totally.
I think.
Yeah, it's a very early role for Rick Yoon, villain from Die Another Day, Olympus Has Fallen. He's the
Oh yeah.
the Korean gang.
Johnny Tran.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
like
right.
the red herring
Yes.
villain.
Yeah, he's playing everybody for a fool, so that's probably what it really has going in terms of originality with the crime element. But like you say, yeah, the barbecue element is interesting. The rap music actually tells the story versus just being there because they needed an artist. It picks up especially near the end, especially when they have to outrun each other on another street race and there's some shootouts.
Who's the rapper that's in that one?
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Oh, it's
Ja
Ja Rule.
Rule.
And
Yeah, that's
fucked
right.
in
I
the
gotta say
bag
it. I gotta stress it.
so bad.
He got
Oh, yeah.
replaced. But
Oh, I'm
Yeah, 'cause he asked for too much
singing
money.
I'm
Oh,
singing in the
so
song
good.
the songs right in my head right now.
Yeah, it's kooky.
he's always what I
I may have
forget
loaded up
until
a
he
few songs if you want
until he
to.
pops up.
Yeah, other than the Assault on Precinct 13 remake, his acting was often lacking. Oh,
So good.
Monica.
and Noah G appears in this. He appears in some of David Ayer's other post Training Day Street Kings type movies, but he also reprises that role in like Furious 7, I think, for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, David Ayer wrote this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. I think he was brought in to rewrite it a bit, like he did on other movies like Taking Lives and Law Abiding Citizen. But he got credit. So I guess what's our final rating on this one?
I give this one a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, cool.
I have it ranked as my third
Oh,
out of 11.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna give that one
as my number 4. Yeah,
I'm gonna give that one probably a 2.5. Like, it's really fun. It's just very dated. It's
in the best way. In the best way.
right. Correct. Yes.
I still love it, and on any day it can flip back and forth with my number one.
Oh yeah, this franchise is very divisive.
So I mean, I give it a 5 just because it sets up the world for me. Paul Walker is his charm. Vin Diesel, they describe him as the teddy bear. Well, we'll talk about Paul
The teddy bear.
in Too Fast and Too Furious. So.
So good. So yes, Too Fast, Too Furious. They once again decide, let's go all Miami Vice and let's focus on.
So they lose Vin Diesel, right? That's the big
He's doing
problem.
Riddick movies, and then they're like, yeah, and let's have another rapper. Let's have Tyrese.
We're bringing in Tyrese.
And let's bring.
So we
back
have to go to a new location.
And his cop bosses, Ted Levine, and the other guy. Let's bring them back. And have them scold him. Let's have Cole Hosher be a psycho who interrogates people with a rat on their chest. That's kind of weird in a PG-13 movie. Let's have what's the other one? There was some other Eva Mendes. She's a narc, and she comes back in part 5 briefly, and you're like, okay.
Oh man, I do not remember that part. Her coming back. Man, I haven't watched these.
Yeah, it was
I
like a
don't remember her.
scene.
I
was
was
a
going to say, I don't
post-credit
remember her.
Yeah,
Is she the one that delivers the package to
The Rock.
Hobbs? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Nice. All right.
John
don't skip ahead.
Singleton directs. Who would have guessed?
The best part about this movie is the whole thing at the end where they have like 100 cars, and we don't know which one is the money one.
Yeah. Probably because that was one of the few practical, like real things they
It was the best.
CGI
Yeah, it's the best.
is really bad in this.
It's
I don't know if
terrible.
you've seen it lately.
But when they
It's like
drive
a
the
video
one
game.
car into the garage and then they open all the doors and everyone barrels out.
Yeah, that
it's
wide
so
shot.
Sweet. So sweet.
It's good.
That's definitely the best scene. But my question is, I'm meant to go back and check how many bras and bras and bros did they use in this movie?
Just a word counter, because they can't do F-bombs, so they got to do yo homie, yo bra, yeah bro.
It was just now granted, because I did like plus and minuses for each movie.
You enunciated it a certain way. I thought you said how many bras are in this
No,
movie.
I know. I was trying.
That also works for this franchise.
There's definitely a lot of
that's where I
cleavage
thought
in
you were
this
going
There's
with
very
movie.
few of those.
This movie
in
is
franchise.
horny as fuck. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But it's like one of the pluses. I do love that this is where we introduce Tyrese Roman and Tej,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
they are
Ludacris.
such a big part of the last few movies. And actually, the more I've watched it, because like I said, I rewatched all these over the past week, and
Nice.
the more times I see 2, I like it a little bit better. But it's still always going to be. I tell everybody, if you can get through 2, possibly
it's
3,
all-
then you're
It
good
gets
to
better.
go.
Duck out.
Yeah.
It's climbed up my rankings since Paul Walker died. The
Exactly.
new ones without him, you can feel it.
Yeah.
You're just lacking something.
I do like
fair.
Him being
Tyrese
a
as an
part of
actor.
it. That's moved it up a bit.
I do legit like Tyrese as an actor. However, as a person, it's pretty clear that guy, he needs to definitely go see some therapy. You know,
I think it's since Paul died. I think he was.
it's
I
a bit
mean-
of that and ego. Apparently, he's just
Their
kinda-
chemistry was really good in this too.
Yeah.
He does work here, and the what part of the movie is it where they're like diving the cars off of the ramps like giant trucks? I think it's like there's a bunch of, you know how there's always those trucks and they're shuffling cars to other dealerships and they're trying to hijack them and drive them off of there.
Gotcha.
And it's just so weird because 2003 was kind of the year where people were doing just car stunts galore. You had The Matrix Reloaded, trashy stuff like Bad Boys 2, and Cradle to the Grave, and this is another one. It's like,
That was also about the time when CGI was getting pretty good, and they started using it when they probably shouldn't have. It just
Yeah.
wasn't
Too
quite
much.
there.
this
So that's how I remember
Terminator Free.
the big end of this movie after the 100 cars come out is don't they jump a car over to the boat?
I think
Yeah,
so.
they crash a
Correct.
car into a yacht.
Yeah, they do.
Yacht, yeah. And I remember that being terrible.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the ejector seats before that, though.
I think
Correct,
that's what
yes.
everyone remembers is the ejector seats. Oh Lord.
I do give credit to the story itself, or the idea of the story, wasn't so bad, being
Yeah,
drug
it was
runners
okay. It just took its sweet time, I think.
and yeah, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't hold my attention like any of the other ones.
Yeah. It's a very crazy maniacal movie. Yeah, so I'm gonna give that
This
one
one is 7th out of 11.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give this
Okay.
one a 2 out of 5. It just feels too reserved, like it's a TV budget, and they just gave it a little extra money just to make it to the end.
Yes. I gave you same thing. I'm at 2.5.
And
I have
that's being
this-
courteous.
I have this 10 out of 10 because like I said,
10 out of 10.
I didn't know.
It's all good. I'm the worst
in my
at
ranking
reminding. Yeah.
because I did not add Hobbs and Shaw into mine, and I had to figure out where I put them on my list
all
of
right.
top 10.
We'll
Think
give
so.
it 20
fast.
extra- Yeah, think fast, too fast. Yeah, so
On to
takes
number
us
3, The
on-
Sleeper, right? So I think this was
Tokyo
supposed to be
Drift.
direct to DVD, and everyone's like, okay, this franchise is dead.
Vin
'cause
makes
you
a
are-
cameo so we can afford
Dropped,
to do the
you dropped a
ridiculous-
number. As soon as you drop a number, especially back then, like, oh, it's not a part 3, then nobody cares.
Mhm.
They
There's none of
apparently
the
didn't
main
even ask
cast.
Paul Walker back for it.
No, there's none of the main cast. It's a total reboot. And you're like, what is this? And then you watch it and you're like, hold on a second. Do you really care about this movie?
Yeah,
Somehow.
this is Justin Lin's awesome.
Somebody didn't just phone this in, and you have to pay a little closer attention. There's some really great, like, quiet, contemplative driving scenes in this movie where they're like,
Yeah.
curving around the mountains,
Mhm.
the whole drifting stuff.
The drifting
love-
through like Tokyo.
Yeah.
Have you heard
yeah.
about like the story that goes along with that?
No.
No.
It was basically done like guerrilla filmmaking because they didn't have permits to do it.
Oh,
So
so this
they
was they just went out and did
All the
it.
people are just people there, and what they had to do was they hired someone as like a fall guy, so because they knew they were going to get arrested, so they hired somebody. The cops came and arrested that guy, and then Justin Lin was able to keep going after.
Wow, I did not know that.
But that's why it
Crazy.
looks so good because it's real.
It's real. And if anyone else found that out nowadays, they'd probably get fired, lose their permit. Man.
Yeah, and they said in the commentary that like he said, they don't give permits hardly at all, but the area where his dad lived, the little housing area,
Mhm.
that they actually let them film there because that area was about to be all torn down. And the
Mm.
community decided, well, if we let them do this, it's going to be on film forever. We can have what it looked like back in the day. And
Interesting.
they also mentioned how the people that he's shown that are from the area, they even found it difficult to tell which car scenes were filmed in Tokyo versus LA.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Cool.
Sung Kang as an addition. The cast is awesome too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I never had an issue with Lucas Black. I know a lot of people give him shit. I think he does okay in this. The soundtrack is really the highlight for me. I love how we have Mos Def and a bunch of other electronic artists. Crystal Method, I think, is on here.
Well, being a girl from Alabama, I completely I understand Lucas Black's language. So
That could be it too. I think a lot of people are just saying not. This was before we had subtitles that they're not understanding half of what he's saying. So.
He's a good addition for like the white guy. I'm
Gotta
kind of
have a white
surprised
guy.
that they haven't leaned on him a little more after.
Yeah, because he
Paul
came
Walker
back
died.
for a second couple.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
he's the one to like try to fill in that spot, right?
with Paul gone, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why they haven't really gone that route.
But like the franchise kind of was, they didn't acknowledge it for a while. Then they slowly were like, "Hey, let's just bring everybody back."
It could be because I know he does CSI New Orleans. Maybe
Oh,
that
well,
has a lot to do with it.
he used to, and then they killed him off on that show. But
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't
NCIS
watch it because he said the RT words. I'm an Auburn grad, so he said the other words way too often for me to have to deal with. Sorry, sports ball.
We were watching it because we wanted to see Scott Bakula kick ass. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a 2.5 out of me for me. I do think it's a way better party movie. And somehow, even though Vin's doing the uncredited cameo just so he can buy back the Riddick franchise,
Yeah, they gave him the rights to Riddick just for that.
his heart
That's
still
crazy.
seems to be in this. And you can kind of tell that he's having fun doing this shameless plug.
Yeah, maybe. I give it a 3.5 because it's just a land,
look at you go.
But don't worry, the other ones are much much higher than this.
It's all good.
I just have a very
crazy
high base,
franchise.
very
I
high
have this
baseline.
as number 5 for me. I really like this movie.
All right, sweet.
I give it probably a 4.5 because I love. This is probably the one I've actually seen the most. I love the Japanese culture. I think is beautiful.
Did anyone
but this
ever
is
remember
number 3 for me.
Did anyone ever remember the critics calling this the racing equivalent of Bad News Bears Go to Japan?
No,
Yes. I always found that amusing, but
that's
yeah,
funny.
I think like many of these odd, ugly ducklings on these franchises, I think they've been reevaluated, and everyone's like, yeah, it's not as bad as you remember. Okay, so let us go to part 4.
And then they loved Justin Lin so much they were like, dude, do this again with everyone,
just like you did the first time. Yeah.
So part 4 is okay. I always mix up 4 and 5. Part 4 is the one across the border in Mexico.
He's going
right?
back undercover again. Yeah.
That's when the 2 leads come back, but
there's the
it's not
tunnels.
quite there yet.
There's the tunnels between America and Mexico. Okay, yeah, got it.
And they kill Letty off screen.
And they've got some like Mexican gangsters.
Gets needlessly convoluted, but it's
Lenny
basically
dies. Yes.
It's a rehash of the first one. Yeah.
And Vin Diesel has like the detective vision from like Arkham Batman.
Yeah,
He
he's
just,
totally
like,
Batman.
replays everything, the crash of her car.
They
It's
get into
ridiculous.
battle with a Chinese gang, and he's holding a guy over a ledge outside of a window, and you're like, really? Okay.
Han is in this one too,
No,
right?
he's in the next one.
Oh, he's in the next one. Okay,
Gal
gotcha.
Gadot shows up in this one for the first time.
Yes, she does.
Gotcha. Okay. Love them. Love Gal Gadot in this series.
Yeah. think
Still
she's
haven't
coming
figured
back, too.
Still haven't
I
figured
think I
out
did
how
hear
she's
that.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's in
I mean, if you could bring
Spoilers.
Han back.
spoilers for part 10, but yeah, she shows
Trust
up
me, it all makes sense after a while.
Oh yeah, she did show up at the very
at the very end.
I'm
I saw her
very
get-
anxiously awaiting how they're going to explain.
I
that.
saw her get sucked off a plane. That's just taken off.
But honestly,
So-
should
They
I
brought
mean?
Han back with like a hologram. I don't even remember what the reason was. I was just happy to see him again.
No, I
Okay.
don't understand. I never believed Han was dead, first of all. But how could, Giselle's easily made it out of that. She was like a car length off the ground. That
Well,
wouldn't
they
kill
killed
her.
Han twice actually, because they killed him in the third one, and then they had Statham
Yeah, I survived the
retroactively
car
kill him.
explosion.
But then,
yeah.
and then they brought him back. So they
And
killed
now
him
Well,
twice,
that's from the
actually.
same scene though.
Yes,
Right.
but I
You
mean, he
just
was
keep
killed in
seeing it
2
from different
movies.
perspectives.
True, yes.
And now
true.
Statham is a good guy now after being
We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. You're jumping ahead. Okay.
I know.
I know it's exciting.
I never understood how he and Luke Evans are supposed to be brothers. I'm like, I'm just not seeing it. I guess it's a British thing.
They're English. That's all.
They're English. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
But yeah, this one, honestly, the plot is kind of forgettable for me of this one. I remember Mexico and they have to race through the tunnels at the end. And,
yeah. Ugh.
I obviously have a softer spot for this one than you guys do.
It's fine.
I love the whole thing.
This is why I love
through the
doing
tunnels.
That's why I like doing these rankings because they're not going to be consistent.
I love the Braga. Like we don't know who it is. They kind of red herring him as somebody else, and like he's the one trying to get all the drivers together. I love this movie.
No, it's fine.
I love it for the fact that it starts to piece together what Fast and Furious will become. Like
right.
Everyone's starting to get together now.
And I remember this
is
kind
of really figured it out.
Yeah,
this is kind of like when I saw the first one. It's like I get Vin Diesel back, I get Paul Walker back. Like I was excited to have everybody back, and I liked it at the beginning how they were still kind of, they had not communicated since Brian let Dom go.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time they were seeing each other, and they still had that kind of bad blood between them. So I liked them trying to work together, but yet stay undercover as well. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Fair enough. Yeah, I got to give this one 1 out of 5. I know.
Oh, that's rough.
This one. It's because the tunnels are CG. They're not even real tunnels.
No,
it looks like a video game.
It's just a very big slug. I do like how it's in the better direction and getting more energetic. This is one I could skip and I wouldn't miss anything. But
yeah, I think that's fair.
The biggest selling point is Paul Walker and Vin being back.
Right. That's basically it.
And it's at number 6.
All of a sudden,
really the only reason. The rest of it's fairly forgettable.
They had 3, which was a reboot, and then all of a sudden you go to 4 and you're like, wait, they're all back?
Yeah.
I gotta see this.
And then come all the questions about, well, wait, 3 happened before all this. So it's like
right.
I don't think at the time that was the case though.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was really annoying in this one too. But yeah. Let's go to part 5, which is, I think we all agree, is kind of a highlight of the franchise.
Yeah, that's my
love
number
part
1.
5.
That's my number 1. That movie's so fun.
Even Joaquim de Almeida, who's kind of phoning it in, seems to be a welcome addition. If that makes sense.
Okay, big stuff in Fast 5. Han is back, so we find out this is a prequel.
Yep.
Let's see. You start to get the whole team. Okay, where does this one take
place? The Rock shows up in this one.
Okay, the Rock's in this
one. This is the
one.
Brazil one with like the
where they go with the
safe and
The minute he and Gal Gadot
the train
put on
heist
those,
at the beginning.
The minute they put on those night vision goggles, it looks like they're about to play a Battlefield or Call of Duty simulation.
There's some great chase sequences over the rooftops.
Oh man,
yeah,
in Rio.
That's good.
The whole thing where they're dragging the safe with 2 cars is freaking ingenious, fantastic.
It's incredible,
and it looks so good. I gotta believe most of that was.
Oh yeah, most of it is practical.
Yeah,
it's
like
very wild.
The movie is them like practicing for the heist.
Yes.
And then they just don't even do that. They just like throw it all out the window. It's great.
They are using free cars just to tear open one giant safe car. And even before that, like I've never seen this much gunplay with machine guns and shotguns in a PG-13 movie. They're shooting them like kind of like Taken. They're shooting them so many times, and yet it's somehow all very bloodless.
Yeah, right. They also do one of the first big stunts of the series where you think, okay, what? Right? When he jumps across from one side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge, catches Letty, and is that the next one?
That's 6.
That's in 6 because that's my jump the shark moment.
This is the one where they like him and Paul Walker go off that cliff after the train.
Okay, gotcha.
It's pretty great. I love that
shot.
I love just looking
that scene.
up.
Yeah,
so
that's the first scene in this whole series where I literally felt my heart stopped for a second when they did that.
I was like,
really?
oh wow, this is
when he jumps
like,
on the back of that car like he's surfing. I'm like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
And it's not that they go over the cliff. It's that they go over the cliff and then they're both totally calm, like they've done this before.
Yeah,
We know what
I
to
think the
do. They
music
don't even
cuts out at that point
the
too.
music
and it's
cuts
just
out.
like
they don't even talk to each other. They just take off their seatbelts, stand up, get ready. We're gonna push off the car as soon as we, when we're too close to the water.
It's so good. It's done
And I
so
know
well.
it's not real, but it looks so real.
It does look good. It does look real.
Man.
They did good with the CGI on this one, and the music by John Powell is pretty inspired. You might know him from scoring movies like Ice Age and the Bourne Identity films.
That train sequence was just fantastic.
And I might have
Love the save.
nostalgia because my dad had a silver, it was the 56 Corvette convertible.
I think
So,
there
and
is a
that-
56. Yeah.
And that's the car they use in that scene. So it's
Are
a
there
little
some
nostalgic
Buicks
for me too.
and are there some Buick and Toyota cars in this franchise as well, or am I thinking of a different car racing franchise?
Some
I don't know.
Buicks. I couldn't tell you.
Maybe
I
not.
think there's some Monte Carlos.
Oh yes, I used to own one. Oh, I'll give it some extra points just for that.
I think that's what Sean Lucas Black had in the beginning of
part 3.
When he
Tokyo
races the
Drift, yeah.
kid from Home Improvement.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, now that made when I saw that did disappoint me in that I'm like, why is Tim Allen not the referee? Starting the race, and go. Yeah.
I forgot one thing that I got to tell you guys. At the end of the last movie, part 3, Dominic is in jail. Well,
Yes,
he gets captured. He's on a bus. Do you remember where he's going? To prison.
hmm
He's going to Lompoc prison,
Where he
Federal
said he would never go back again.
Federal Corrections Institution. Okay, so this is weird. My dad was a federal prison warden.
really.
I grew up on prison property pretty much all the time. We traveled all over the country doing this. He was the warden of Lompoc prison at the time that
Well,
this
thank
came out.
him. Be sure to thank him for his
That's
service. Wow.
And I told him, dude, at the end of this movie, Dominic Toretto is going to your prison.
No way.
That's so crazy. And he gets busted out of he never makes it there, by the way.
Oh
Right.
yeah, that's the first scene in
Part
5. when they,
5
like, flip
starts
that
when they
bus
break him out of the
1,000
bus
times.
on the way. Yeah.
and he's just flying.
Good job on.
forgot
Are
I
y'all
love
sure
that.
that's not between 5 and 6?
So great.
No, I'm
This is
pretty
the
sure
big-
that's
the-
five.
That's the
This-
beginning of 5.
This
Yeah.
is the biggest
Also,
part of this. whole-
Kudos to whoever choreographed the fight between The Rock and Vin.
Yeah, I was gonna
Tro-
say that's a good fight.
Troy Robinson, who has doubled Vin in other movies, did good. It's very seamless. You can't tell. And obviously, The Rock's cousin, Tynoid Reed, is his stunt double, and same deal. You can't tell.
I would say that's the last good fight between them.
Yeah, because that's before they had
It's
like
the
their
first
punch
and the
count,
last.
You know,
Exactly.
Before
right.
the actors refused
because
to
someone
film in
actually
the
kind
same
of wins.
scenes. Yeah.
Neither of them could lose. Neither they had to throw the
Well,
exact same.
this was
amount
back
of
when
hits.
these actors could stand to be in the same scene together, you know?
There's that too.
There's the ups. Anyone not knowing what we're talking about, look it up. It's out there. There's a reason they went their own way in the franchise. Oh, so let's go to I'm gonna give this one also like 3 out of 5. It's very decent. It moves at a fast pace. It's good
Fast
for what
and
it is.
Furious, you might say.
It's very furious for a Fast and Furious movie.
This is my number 1.
I'm giving this.
Look at
I
you.
I'm giving
love
this a
Fast Five.
4.5. This one's real high up there.
There
I
you go.
think I'm going to give it a
If you're gonna watch any of them, watch this one.
4.25 because
Yeah.
this is my number. Well, no, I'm going to give it a 4.5 because this is my number 4 movie.
Okay, perfect. We're on to part 6, where we introduce Luke Evans as a terrorist, and there's all kinds of other just. I remember when this first came out, and people were noticing how this reminded them of Live Free or Die Hard, where a car crashes through a plane.
Yes. Right.
Oh,
Oh yeah, this is the one with the like 30,000 mile runway or whatever.
yeah.
It just
okay.
keeps going and going.
Guys, this is my favorite Fast and Furious movie because it is
What?
just
Oof.
a little too far over real life, but not so far too far from me.
I think this was the last one that they actually didn't have that punch count like we were talking about. Because
Yeah,
Han
yeah.
and what's his name? They get the crap kicked out of them. Like going there in the subway.
Oh yeah.
Yes, love
Him
that
It's a
and-
scene.
great
is it-
fight.
In fact,
Is it him and
that's
Tyrese, isn't it? 'Cause
Tyrese,
he
that's
said,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
because he's like,
there's
'Cause they're
more
both
to
like,
it.
I don't
Don't
wanna
tell
go back in
everybody.
there, like
There's more to it than just that
Really
because
good.
that scene is happening at the same time. There's an all chick fight and they keep
Yeah.
cutting
Oh my
between
God.
that one and there's another thing going on at the same time, which I can't remember what it is, but there's like an action sequence where 3 different things are happening.
Yeah, it's
And
really
it's
great.
just so
And
incredible.
what?
I love
And
it.
Letty decides, I'm going to stop betraying the team. Let's not run.
Oh,
them over
man.
with
Yeah,
a
she's
tank.
got amnesia.
Letty's
I
back.
guess
She's
so.
alive, but she has
Amnesia's the best way
amnesia.
to put it. Yes.
I
Oh my
normally
God.
hate amnesia as a trope, but I don't even care in this one. 'Cause
No,
I just
it's-
wanted her back, so I was fine with it.
It's got the car. It's got the car that's so low that it flips other cars.
You can only take this
Oh, yeah.
the
I love
best way
that.
to take this movie is with G.I. Joe logic.
Yes,
It's fine.
makes no
it's
sense.
Fine. It's fine. It's fine.
This is my 3 high points is Letty's back, the wedge vehicles that you were talking about,
Yep,
and
yep.
then the Braga connection, because I told y'all I love Braga
Oh, yeah,
the,
Braga's
for, the
back.
for the 4th movie.
Oh
so,
my God.
But my 3 minuses are the runway. I mean, I don't know how many people talked about that runway scene. Like I timed it the last time I watched it. It was 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
I figured it. I
in the
figured it out
so
once.
much fun.
I figured it out once that if it was, I timed it. It's like 11 minutes, and then if a plane is going 65 miles an hour or something like that, how long would the runway need to be? And it had to be something crazy like 15 miles long.
Yeah, it doesn't
No
make
runway
any sense.
exists.
And my mom was watching him and she was like, well, wait, maybe they're just circling around. I'm like, no, they're not. They're trying
going at full
to take
speed.
off. And then of course the scene you were talking about earlier, this is my one jump the shark action scene. And it's where, yes,
He
jumps
catches her
across
midair, lands on a car.
on the other bridge.
He's
on the
While
fine.
the tank is chasing him.
And we will notice a
On a
pattern when we
tank.
get to number 9, I think. Yes, number 9. Apparently I don't like when they have scenes that involve bridges because 9 is my other big, like, really? Now I can buy when they go into space, but for some reason him catching her
Okay, well, this is going to be very interesting.
Don't they also? Doesn't Brian go back to jail on this one on
Oh,
purpose?
I love that
Yeah, he
scene
goes
because he gets
back-
to
Oh my
punch.
God.
He
So
gets to
quick.
punch the guy in the face
He plants
again.
himself back in.
Yeah,
If you keep track of the timeline too, that also makes no sense because he flies from
yeah, he goes like halfway around the world.
where are they? They're in London, and then he gets
It's
to
like 5
LA, and
minutes
then
worth
he's
of the
back
It's
in less
weird
than 24
how they
hours.
try to use real physics when it doesn't even acknowledge real physics.
It's daytime everywhere at the same time, all over the earth.
Yes. Oh my God. It's only nighttime when we want to have a cool explosion at night. Oh,
I just love it. It's too much. Like it's not real life anymore, but for me, it's just the right amount of unbelievability.
oh
So, it's
man.
my favorite one.
Yeah, this is my
Oh.
second favorite.
Okay.
Oh! We also got to say that Han dies, and
yeah.
Giselle dies,
Until he comes
and
back.
both
No,
of them
this
break my
is-
heart because I love
no,
them.
this
I
is-
love
this
them.
is-
Yeah, I
together.
like them too. That really bummed me.
This one's just Giselle because at the end they ask him,
Oh,
you know, what are
right.
you
Right,
going
right.
to do? And he keeps saying,
It's like maybe
I'll
back to
probably
Tokyo.
go to Tokyo. Right.
Doesn't
Yeah,
he
that's it.
die in the post-credit scene?
I think
This
so.
one?
And then
Yeah, that's where they
introduce
show-
Jason Statham.
Because we know it happened
Correct,
already.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But man, when she goes, it's so shocked me so much because I love
Yeah,
them
me
together.
too.
Man,
Yeah, I felt
it's so
that.
sad.
Oh man.
We'll return after these messages.
The Jacked Up Review Show podcast is honored to be part of the Blind Knowledge Podcast Network. Join anytime, talk the talk, and enjoy yourselves. There's something enlightening for everyone with this crowd of cool cats. Check them out.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win Show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
This was a rough slog. I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
Go on.
I found Arturo very annoying. The one
main
that Kathy
villain?
was just bringing up. No, the supporting one. Because it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the Vin and Luke Evans having a fun measuring contest. I'm
Gotcha.
So, once again, since everyone keeps coming back to life, I really don't know how to even rank this with the rest of the franchise because it's inconsequential. So.
Yeah, it makes no sense anymore.
So
I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5 because it's just the best. I watched this movie. This was the last one I saw at home before I was like, okay, I'm in theaters again. And I watched it on DVD one night at my house. My wife was asleep on the couch next to me the whole time. And it took everything I had in me not to wake her up and say, you got to see this. It's so good.
You wanted to wake her up. Oh, man. Did she appreciate being woken up?
I didn't do it, but man, it took a lot.
It took a lot.
I think I saw this one overseas in the theaters.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It was either this one or 5. I can't remember.
Where were you traveling?
He's doing like the Fast and Furious tour where you watch each one in the location.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be pretty cool, actually.
I was in Birmingham, England.
So you were.
Birmingham? Bloody hell. No,
I think it was this one.
Dude, Jason Statham threatened to curb stop you and you had to say, yo, man, I don't want any trouble, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah, that was an interesting experience too, because they were just like, what is happening?
What is happening? Let's go to part 7. Also known as the one where they were thinking, let's nominate it for an Oscar.
Really?
Jason Derulo's song, It's Been a Long.
That's a great song.
Yeah, it is.
Oh
I still listen to that one. Come on.
I actually loaded that up.
My brother and girlfriend went to see this, and his girlfriend didn't think it was very good, but yet even she confessed that she started crying. I'm like,
yeah.
Movies do that to you sometimes.
This one, okay, so this one it had a lot of turmoil, right?
Yep.
They were shooting it, all going according to plan. They lose their main actor, tragically.
His two brothers are stand-ins. Yep.
Going to hiatus for ages to try to figure out what to do. They bring him back, with their brothers to body double for him.
They get their SAG card. It's great.
Worked really well.
You really can't tell.
But you go into it not knowing, is this going to be in poor taste or is this going to be okay? I remember being very nervous.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think they handled it really well.
In hindsight, they did.
As well as you could.
But I felt so scared.
You can't tell that it's CGI. It looks like a real human actor.
Yeah. The only couple of times I notice it is when they're when they jump out of the car as the car is careening out of the building. You can kind of see because it's a little bit further away. And then at the end when there's a
fight
the beach,
scene at the end that you could tell.
Yeah.
It just it makes the movie
so
it makes the movie so much harder to watch.
Yeah.
I literally cried through the whole movie.
Did you? Yes.
It is. It gets me at the end there when they drive off or he drives off.
Absolutely.
Tough.
Well, as soon as you see them sitting on the beach and they're talking, knowing that they filmed that scene after his death.
Right.
So it's what they're saying is true.
It is goodbye. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that was
the only thing is Georgiana Brewster is just has a beach ball under her dress. It's the most ridiculous pregnant woman.
As it goes on, they really give her less to do except run around, and you're like,
so true.
The same chick who was in Texas Chainsaw Crab.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to bring her back though, because it's why isn't
he here?
She's not as useful as he is in these movies.
Well, how do y'all think they've played that? Do y'all? Because I think everybody thought that they
would kill him, so he's just gone. Yeah.
Do y'all like that they played it off?
They did. I think it was great. I think that was one of the best handling of someone dying mid production.
It works so well in this movie, but I think you're right, Josh. Later on, you can feel that it's missing, and it's strange that he's not there anymore.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was the heart. Without him, it's just not the same.
I like how they keep bringing in, like, even if it's just a scene with, Dom's son, or is it 9 or 10? I think it's 9, where his car, like, there's one person missing and it's like he's on his way, and I'm like, oh, I cried yesterday because I'm like,
Oh yeah,
but he's not coming.
Yeah, at the barbecue.
Yeah.
This movie has my favorite like cinematography, I think, of the whole series.
It is well shot, but I think that's what works for me against it. It's too well. It's better than it has any right
so
to
good.
be.
Yeah,
It's James Wan, isn't it?
The sunsets are beautiful. Yeah, he directed this one.
This is the one where
when they jump the car between the buildings, it looks incredible.
I only have one bugaboo about that, is they say that he's in the penthouse, but when they jump from the very first building, they're halfway down that building.
Yeah,
they're not in the
middle.
penthouse. Yeah.
Right.
So they should have made the shortest building the one that they jump from first, because that would have made more sense.
And Ronda Rousey is introduced for no reason at all.
Yeah, not a fan.
Is this the one where Ludacris goes?
It was no reason, but that was a dope fight scene.
Well, I agree with the sexy dresses.
Is this where Ludacris goes? This is ludicrous.
Oh, I don't know.
This is ludicrous. I think this was the first
part 8 where he says it, and you're like, for real. Okay.
In that fight scene, I think this is the first time they came up with that camera move where they spin the camera with the actor as they're getting flipped.
Yes,
which it was so awesome. The first,
Rock,
like 2 times, and then they use that over and over and over.
The Rock gets thrown out of a building by Statham, and then he's in a cast and he just tears it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
He flexes out of it.
Have you heard the reason he was allowed to lose that fight is because he was saving a woman to do it? That's why he was okay with it.
There you go. And then he shoots a drone with a giant machine gun. You're like, okay, I guess that works.
I love when he just flexes his arm to break the cast.
He just flexes.
He says, "Daddy's got to go to work."
Oh my god.
I saw this movie. I was living in LA when it came out, so I saw this in LA with a packed theater, and it was freaking incredible. Everyone was hyped, cheering, applauding, and all the locations, like, are places we know. Oh man, it's just the best.
Wait a minute, I feel like now we're talking, because I thought that where he was in the hospital was an 8, because that's when they're doing the whole God's eye and all that was an 8.
Part 7.
That's
they follow up with the God's Eye later too, but yeah,
it is mentioned later on.
This one finishes in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah, where he stomps on a parking garage.
Exactly. Yes, he breaks the parking garage with his foot.
Oh my god.
They also ram into each other head on at some point for a game of chicken.
I love the line. It's like, I
get up and walk away.
It's like
they hit each other.
Like cheating.
They hit each other with metal pipes, and you're like, okay, so I guess this is Agent Smith versus Matrix type fighting. I guess that works.
Yep.
Yeah, it reminded me of, like, what was it, the 4th Die Hard movie where everyone's just like a
where McClane has steroids, even though he's getting
where everyone is John McClane, like everyone's
right. It's a wrestler's match, or like the later Terminator movies where they go back to just throwing people against walls.
The throwing is I hate that trope.
I know. It's like, why is this happening here?
Am I wrong, or is this also the one where they drop out of the plane?
Yeah. To get that
which they did for real. They dropped real cars out of the plane.
And Paul Walker's jumping back. I love that.
It's a bus.
I love
it's
that
a bus, right? He's running on the bus.
Like this,
and it's tipping over the edge.
Big rig kind of thing.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's insane.
I'm pretty sure that was 7.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's part 7. I swear. Yeah.
Well, and there was also wasn't this also the one where. What did we already talk about? No, I'm confused now. Never mind.
I think you're thinking of 8.
I mean, they made Statham a good guy. When he hurts or injures The Rock, he just like kills everyone in a hospital.
He murders everyone in the hospital.
He's the Terminator. He just comes in. You don't even know how he does it, and you're like, "How is this PG-13?"
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah, now he's cool. Okay, cool.
That's in part 8, right? When they flip him.
I think so.
Okay, that was a tough sell for me. We'll talk about it when we get there. But man, that one was hard.
Of Han, but
okay, so I'll let
and
you
also
guys...
the hospital. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
okay, we want to wrap up part 7.
We'll talk about Han, but not the hospital.
Let's go ahead and rank part 7, then go into 8.
I put this one right out number 5 for me. It's just below 6.
I have this as number 4.
Awesome. Kathy, where you got it?
I have it as number 6.
Okay. Oh, this was a 0 for me. I just
A 0.
Ludacris was fucking unbearable in this. Oh my god. Oh, I know
the two of them do get more annoying to me as
it's just like
go.
I just want to see Vin, and The Rock doesn't have anything to do really except shoot the drone, and I just feel like it takes itself too seriously.
Well, The Rock, he was supposed to be in this movie more, but then because of the schedule, they had to write him out.
He's barely in it.
And then they brought him in at the end just so
it's
that
insane.
Something, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There are going to be some that we give a great rating to. It's just, it's a crazy, crazy franchise. And the best way to take this one is with a lot of weed. Oh,
fair enough.
Let's go to 8 where they go to space.
Everyone always said it. Where are they going to go next? Space.
They're going to go to space. Jason did it. Hellraiser did it. Mission Impossible did it. Are they going to
do it? First off, they missed a huge one. Wait, hold on a second. Are you sure they don't go to space in this?
No, they don't go to space.
My bad.
It's 9.
Okay, so this is the
Charlize.
This is the submarine.
Charlize there on a submarine.
This is my least.
Right.
This is my least favorite. I think.
Yeah, that's bad.
This one was coming off of such like I think 6 and 7. Even though if those aren't your favorite movies, I think those were the most successful.
They were definitely
and they
more
really
full of charm. Yeah,
and they just had like the culture taken over. Like those were the huge movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming off of
based off the Wikipedia, 7 and 8 made the most money box office wise.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mean 7 was huge. It was so big.
Yeah,
I think like Paul Walker's death had a big part of that.
1.5 billion.
And so this one was just a massive opening because of how well
it was
these
like
movies had been received,
I think.
For the last few.
Correct, yeah.
And man, they missed a huge one, like a layup here. Why do you not call it the F8 of the Furious?
There's a
naming
whole
convention it's nonsense.
What the heck?
There's a whole YouTube video about the naming of the Fast and Furious franchises, how not one of them coordinates with any of the other titles.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
The titles don't even have anything to do with it.
It's pathetic. It's it's in the title, F8, the Fate of the Furious. Why would you not just move that down? All right. Anyways,
I don't know.
Gripe about that.
Oh man! So
okay, so the
Mirren
craziest
introduced as Statham,
yes, Helen Mirren,
who's also like a terrorist, criminal for hire, crazy woman.
Yep.
It's weird.
She just becomes friends with Dom like within 2 sentences.
Yeah, because she's playing up her real life thing where everyone keeps saying "pretty beautiful" despite your age, and it's
this one was marketed as weird. Dominic was the bad guy. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I do. Because he gets seduced by Charlize. Charlize does that sometimes. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, we hadn't mentioned he has a kid with Elena.
So that's the big reveal here is he's being blackmailed into doing these terrible things against his own team to keep his son alive.
Oh, man.
That he just found out about.
Yep. Happens sometimes.
I think this is my least favorite one because the way they kill Elena, like, these movies are supposed to be fun, and that just bummed me out.
Oh, yeah. She just takes one to the head, right?
And the music that's playing just makes you wonder, not sure how to feel.
Once Michelle Rodriguez comes back, he was with Elena, and she's just like, nah, it's fine. You go.
Yeah.
Right. He was with Elena for like a week.
Yeah, because the kid is hers.
And then a week later, he finds out Lenny's alive. So it's all on the up and up. Sean, don't worry. Josh, don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
They had a scene, and she's just like, "It's okay, like no big deal." Like, I understand. Would react that way.
You thought I was dead.
Well, I think in that opening scene when The Rock comes to Dom about it, because she says she's like, "If it was my husband, I would, have to go and find." So I think she's totally fine with it. She's still in love with her deceased husband anyway, so it was all good.
Yeah, forget they have a kid together.
It's just an excuse for her to fight Charlie.
I don't think she didn't know it at that time. I think she said she found out right before or right after he found out Letty was alive.
As you do.
Yeah, this movie is kind of a slog, I think, and I always feel bored by the time they're racing through the snow. It's like, okay, how much longer is this going to go on?
I don't know. There's parts I love in this one, though. I love the whole Jason Statham
But
his
Jason
brother.
Statham.
Well, you
on
got to
the
say with the
baby.
accent.
saving the
Yeah,
baby
that's great.
You got to say with the accent. I'm Jason Statham.
is
Jason
the highlight.
Statham.
That sequence
That's
is
the
the
best part
highlight
of
of
the
the
movie.
movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And I do
I
love.
agree.
And he's
I
making
can't-
What's
jokes
the
and he's like, give us a
one-liner he's-
smile.
That's what it was. Give us a smile.
And I
He's
can't
like,
think
not
of
let the baby see the violence. It's the
I
best.
can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays Tormund in Game of Thrones, the redheaded guy.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
her
my
henchman.
God.
I love him.
I love him too. That's a
But
good
my
call.
only, I think my biggest dislike of this one is I love the submarine. I love that whole, it's very.
I
But
actually kind of enjoy that scene too. It's absurd,
just-
but it's fun.
I love Tyrese having to, be pulled out, because of the orange.
That's great. I mean, that's
He goes-
restraint right there, not pulling the whole car out where he just
Right.
grabs on the door. That's actually kind of some restraint.
And then when he
gets
gets
very
off and he
wimpy as the
stops
franchise goes on.
and he uses the door to knock one of the guys on
Oh,
the
man.
on the machines off and knocks them out. I love that part.
Something like
I think
that,
it's the
yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez one when they're showing her escape and it's like the ice keeps coming up in the opposite direction. There's not in
Yeah.
a ramp direction. It's like the opposite direction, but somehow she still uses this as a ramp. I'm like, oh, come on.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow.
They also
Ugh.
set up in this one, right? That Charlize Theron is working for somebody else,
Right. Just
but we don't know
randomly.
who yet.
Until next time. Yeah.
I still am not totally sure we know who she was working for. We missed Kurt Russell. He shows up in part
Mr.
one,
Nobody.
part
Yeah.
7.
Isn't this when they start to basically become like super spies?
That was in
Yes.
that was in
Yeah.
It was the
7.
one before. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh man.
because they're still doing heists and stuff in 6.
And
7,
this is the
Mr.
one
Nobody
where-
shows up and says, "Hey, we need your help because nobody else can do this."
Is this the one that is it Scott?
Scott Eastwood, I think, is also
Yeah,
in it. Yeah.
Scott
I think-
Eastwood
As an
is working-
agent.
Yep.
As you do.
But the best part, who did not know what that baby's name was going to be at the end of this movie? I mean, talk
Brian.
about the
There was no other
heartstrings.
option.
I wasn't paying attention. So
Little Brian.
little
little me.
Brian. Oh my God. Yep. It checks out. I mean, what? It's either that or call him Mr. Room Room. Mr. Room Room. All right. I'm a grouch. You guys go ahead and rank it first.
8. I'm putting this one at 3.5. We peaked. We're on the way down.
3.5, baby.
This is my least favorite. Just that scene with Elena getting murdered.
2.5.
I hate it so much. It takes me out of the movie. It's not fun.
I have this as
Shitty.
5th on my list because I love the scene with Jason Statham and Luke Evans,
Give us a smile.
and then the banter. I mean, I know it's cheesy, but the banter between Roman and Tej it cracks me up. Is this the
Yeah,
one where
it does.
where the catapult gun that he accidentally shoots, or is that
I
in
don't
between
remember.
Han and
I just remember
and
there's
Dom?
a big James Bond inspired fight on the ice with ATVs and machine
I
guns.
cannot
and
remember
cars.
about the catapult gun.
And there's
That might
more
have been an
bad.
earlier one.
There's more
just-
Yeah.
pain.
If
There's
Han was
more-
involved, it wouldn't be this one because he's not in this one.
There's
Oh,
more
it's-
forced
so it must be
one-liners by
9 then.
Ludacris and
Right.
the Game of Thrones chick. Oh my God. There's
But them fighting over her, it makes me laugh because she's like, whatever. I don't like either one
Whatever,
of
man.
you.
right. I'm just here. It's by this point, it's like you guys say, it is the A-Team, MacGyver, just a bunch of spies who
Yeah,
use cars and fix them up.
Okay, what's next? Are you going to 9 next, or are you going to Hobbs and Shaw?
Oh, yeah. Let's go to. Oh well, yeah. Hobbs and Shaw. came
Release
next,
order
so,
is Hobbs and
okay.
Shaw.
Yeah.
So this is where they were like, okay,
Let's
we need The
do-
Rock because he is huge in this.
Let's
but
have Idris
doesn't-
Elba as a.
he doesn't get
Terminator
along
villain.
with our other lead.
Vin
So
Diesel.
what are we gonna
yeah.
do? Let's
So,
just spin it off. And
He-
this is almost not a Fast and Furious movie, right?
It's Tango and Cash in Lethal Weapon. Yeah, and they keep meeting up with special undercover agents Kevin Hart and Ryan Reynolds, as you do.
The
on a
Kevin
plane.
Hart sequence on a plane
Has
is so
nothing
out
to
of
do with
left
the
field,
rest of the movie,
and
but
it's so
wacky.
long. You're like, how is this still going?
Didn't they film that out of spur of the moment? He happened to be on the flight they were filming on, or
I don't know.
maybe I'm
I don't
thinking
know
of
about
some other
that.
movie where that happened, where someone was there. I think I'm thinking of Ewan McGregor made a cameo in Once Upon a Time in the West because he was filming Jane Got a Gun on the soundstage next door. And they're like, let's have you're in cowboy gear. How about you come on over and film a cameo?
Yeah, Idris Elba is legitimate superhuman.
He is superhuman. He's killed in such an anticlimactic way, but at least he's having a lot of fun taking out the trash. And I think the highlight is when they're both getting like their nipples tased and then they escape, and then they're trying to, it's like they're still playing a literal video game. They're trying to see how many henchmen they can knock out
yeah
before the other one does. And it's like, it's not a contest. You guys need to escape.
I also love that Vanessa Kirby is about 21 years younger than Statham, but they're brother and sister.
And now she's in
Oh,
this
that's right. I
Impossible
forgot
game.
about that.
Oh
yeah,
my
I forgot she was in
God.
this one.
Oh my word.
I have to believe that part of the contract for The Rock was this is going to take place in Hawaii at the end because I want to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can tell there's lots of ego stroking. Statham is like, we got to have British babes, and and The Rock is like, I want to have promote my Samoan brothers.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sisters.
It's not just that I want it to take place in Hawaii, but it feels like total respect.
It
And
goes
I want to.
all Return of the Jedi, where they're all fighting each other Ewok style with this.
But he really wants to put the culture on like center stage. Like,
Oh
hey,
my
take a look at
God.
this.
It's a very crazy, like, just people with guns versus just like sticks and stones.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
it's
so-
like high-tech guns that they somehow can shut off.
Yeah, it's like that, and they render the helicopter inoperable.
The
and they're
reason they
like,
go there is because his like brother or something used to, I don't know,
he used to be like a
do
hacker.
something
or
with cars, and
some
for some
crazy
reason
shit.
he's the only one in the world who can hack into this
Oh,
bioweapon. I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
it's a total plot convenience. It's probably the mindless of the movies, but I'm giving it a perfect 3.5 out of 5.
And see, I
It's
have only
still
watched
fun.
this movie once at the theater. Y'all are not making me want to rewatch this.
I only saw it once too. I remember it
Yeah,
pretty
you
well.
don't, I think I've only seen it once. You don't need to rewatch it.
You
The
don't
only
need to
thing-
rewatch it, but
The only thing I
let's
remember,
just-
I
Less for
love
what
the,
it is.
I love the first 15 minutes, the banter with
Oh yeah,
with Vin
That's-
and I mean with The Rock and with Jason Statham. That is literally all I remember because I love that part so much.
and
I remember how crazy the scene was, I guess, on the island when he was back home. I vaguely remember like were they like wreckers? Like they would hook up the cars. and
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
like I
At one
remember
point,
thinking
he
that
was
was
holding
absolutely
onto a helicopter and a tow
Yes.
truck.
yes,
Right.
Yes.
And then
because-
another car, like the tow truck was
Yeah.
getting towed,
yeah,
and
and
they were
because it's
connected to the helicopter.
and
Yeah,
because
there
it's
was
a
like 5 or 6 of them at the same time, like all being strung.
very
Yeah.
very bizarre, and because I do like the soundtrack in this, minus the one rap song in the first fight scene. I do think it has an unusual kinetic energy, even though, like you guys say, it's really just a one-time watch. But kudos to David Leitch for bringing in all his stuntmen crew, who he's known since movies like Safe, Matrix, and John Wick. Just-
I mean, it's a good-looking movie. You know.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it is. It's
And-
it's just like an action. It's a really good action movie that
Yeah.
not a Fast and Furious movie.
it's
just
not
so
at all
strange.
Fast and
Right.
Furious.
It's just so
but
strange that
I
they're trying
think I
to
would
spin
have
it
liked
off.
it more if it wasn't part of this world.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
right.
Because I brought all my Shaw baggage into it because that was
The-
before they retconned it. And I was just like, no, I love Han.
The
Han's like
Helen
my favorite
Mirren
character
si-
in the franchise. So
Helen
Agreed.
Mir-
Yeah,
I'm not
screw
okay
you.
with
He's
this.
not my hero. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is not right. I
it
don't
doesn't make any
forget.
sense. Helen Mirren is funny as his mom in prison, but it's kind of out of place with the rest of the movie.
Well, so in some ways, this feels like a movie that tried to
Yeah.
branch off into a different timeline that never
Yeah.
happened because it was a failed start.
kind of like the Netflix cartoon show. You're kind of
I
wondering
think it
what
still
the
made
connection is.
money.
It made money, but it felt like they were trying to branch this off into another series.
Well, they just
Never
had
went
to
anywhere.
because the
I-
egos were so strong on the set.
I was gonna
they
say, I
couldn't-
think this was strictly just The Rock trying to prove that
he can
He can
carry
do it
the
all on his
that
own.
he
This is a
that
dick
yeah that
measuring
he was
contest.
the
It totally
was-
is a
because I'm gonna call it right now. I'm totally Team Vin in that whole drama scene, so I'm gonna put this like 10 or 11 on my list.
Yeah, I had this as 10 just because of the Shaw stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ouch. I think I put this one at like my number 4. I gave it a
Right.
3.5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. like you say, it really doesn't make sense why they decide to have this be part of it. They could have just gone off and done their own movie together. I still want to see Faster 2 or The Rundown 2.
I want to
The
see a
Transporter.
movie about Ryan Reynolds' character in this.
That would have been great too.
It felt like they were going to do something else.
There was a lot of meat left on that bone.
Instead, they did Red Notice.
I don't remember
So
that
they
at all.
He was
And I love
barely
Ryan
in
Reynolds.
it. Like at the beginning, I think he gives
them
Hobbs
the mission.
He's like,
and then like
begging
a
to
scene at
come
the
along.
end when he just like murders everybody.
Yeah, and he's like eating their food in the same place after he's killed them all. I'm like, really? How is this PG-13?
Oh no, I meant Ryan Reynolds at the end. I think maybe it's like a post-credit scene or something.
I think it was.
Scene.
Yeah,
It's after
like
the
covered
credits.
in blood. I was like, what?
Because
Yeah,
if it's
he's
after
got, like-
credits, it doesn't count for the rating. That's why.
Right.
Didn't they do
Seriously?
a movie,
No,
a
that's
different
not-
movie?
It's like a
Did-
broken nose and something, and he's still, like you say, he's just eating everyone's food after he's killed them all.
Didn't The Rock and Ryan Reynolds do another movie
Yeah,
together?
Red
not too long-
Notice
with
Yeah,
Gal
Red
Gadot.
Notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Gal
Most
Gadot,
watched movie
which is
ever.
basically you could call it Fast and Furious, a different spin-off.
Yeah.
If you just gave
Yeah.
him the-
Hobbs and
Yeah, you could have used Ryan
whatever
Reynolds'
Reynolds.
character
Hobbs and
from
Giselle.
that.
Meets Free
It would've
Guy,
worked.
meets Deadpool, yeah. Meets Hitman's bodyguard. Oh, crazy.
Okay, on to
So
number
now we're
9.
back to part 9, like I said.
Now we're going
in
to space. You've been waiting for this one.
Whew. Is this an improvement from the submarines, or is it just as crazy?
Man, I have to think what I remember
Yeah, I'm
about
trying
this.
to remember what even happens.
I was just surprised that John Cena's middle name was.
Oh yeah, it's the Cena one.
Well, why was his middle name not Invisible? That's a running gag where they're like, you can't see John Cena. He moves so fast. He's invisible.
him. I remember God's Eye was back, and
God's eye. Yes.
Mr. Nobody's back.
Mr.
and-
Nobody.
yes, Mr.
Oh my
Nobody's
God.
plane has gone down.
Oh,
And no,
gave me
this
a
is not
headache.
the God's Eye. This is called Ares. It's a little bit different. This is the one
Ares.
that Han comes back.
That's the MacGuffin.
and he's
Yeah, Han
protecting-
does come back.
This
He's
is where it gets
protecting
all
the little
Mission
girl,
Impossible.
Elle.
Right.
I I still don't understand how Han survived that.
It was like a hologram or something. Like
Mr. Nobody. They
it
did
doesn't make
something.
any sense.
So we
I don't
thought,
remember it being a hologram. I think
So first
all I
time through,
remember-
Han gets killed in a car accident. And then we find out, no, he didn't. He lived through the car accident, but Jason Statham executed him afterwards. So we hate
Yeah.
Statham.
I think that was
And then we
him.
find out, and then we find out Statham was working with them, and it was a fake execution, right?
Oh man. Yeah, it made my brain hurt.
Oh, see, I don't remember. Oh, let me think. I just read about this too. I thought my understanding was that he wasn't actually in the car.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah.
Oh, he
And I
wasn't
think
in the
they
car.
used I think that's where the hologram. I'm pretty sure.
Like
that-
I think Jason Statham character really was trying to kill him for his
yeah,
brother.
he was.
He was just Han was just working for Mr. Nobody. They were
Mr.
trying to
Nobody.
they were trying to get him hidden from Shaw
But doesn't
so he could
Statham?
so he could protect the girl Elle that has the DNA for the Ares whatever is in this ninth movie.
Something
Sounds
like
so
that, I
crazy.
guess. Yeah.
But doesn't Hobbs? No, Shaw. Doesn't Shaw kill him like as he
Shaw?
climbs out of the car?
He throws
Kinda.
think
throws
he
the lighter and
ignites
blows
it.
it up.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. But if you watch part 3, that's the most offensive retcon ever
It's crazy.
because he was in the
What are
car.
we even
It's
talking
absurd,
about?
but I love Han so much. I honestly didn't even need a reason. He could have just showed up and they said nothing, and I would have been totally fine with it.
He shows up. He shows up eating. By the way, eating is what is he eating? all
Yeah, I
the
love
time?
that. That's how he's
Nuts.
snacking.
Did you feel like that was a reference to Brad Pitt's character in Ocean's 11? How they're always planning, and in every scene he's always eating when he's not.
No,
Yeah,
I
I mean-
believe
Okay.
what I've read
I've just
is
watched too many
that
movies.
Justin Lin, his movie Better Luck Tomorrow, which
Yeah.
has
That's part of the
Right.
Oh,
the
the
he
series.
John,
smokes in that
the John
movie.
Cho movie he did. Okay.
Yeah,
That
he
makes
smokes in
sense.
that movie. He doesn't smoke now, so it's that whole oral fixation, trying not to smoke. So he's eating all the time. I love Han too. He's my
Yeah,
favorite.
Han's the
And like I
best.
said, I never bought the fact that he died in that car wreck. I'm like, he could have gotten out.
If you
So
want to see
When
him
he
in a
started posting things about Han coming back, I was literally like, I was the most excited human on the planet, other than maybe Josh.
if you want to see him in a decent action film, I definitely recommend Bullet to the Head with Stallone. It's also very dumb, but at least it's fun seeing him be a straight man to Stallone's egomaniac.
Good pick.
I will add it to my list.
This one also has doesn't Vin Diesel rip down a whole building with chains
Yes, he does. Oh
to
my
try
God.
to
Maybe not a
sacrifice himself?
I think he does. Yes, I think you're
It's
right.
more like a.
Oh my God.
It's a.
Like a smokestack.
Yeah,
or
like it's the
something.
metal staircase inside
to sacrifice himself so everyone else can get away, and then underwater he has one of those "I'm dying and I'm hallucinating" parts of my life.
Word. Yeah,
but it gives him
as one would do, right?
Gives him
what
enough
else
motivation
would you do in these kinds of movies
to not drown, and he swims back up to the top, and everyone else dies except for him.
Yeah, something like that.
And what's your point?
It's kind of a Rambo moment where only he can, or Chuck Norris moment, only he can do this. He punches the ground up. So I'm surprised there haven't been Fast and Furious jokes.
Well, actually, this is the one where they joke about. It's Tyrese's character is the one that jokes about. He's like, "Man, are we invincible?" Like, and it's kind of a whole running joke throughout this whole movie about because when he gets shot up at the beginning, he's like, "Look,
right." He's like, "I
16
never got
bullet
shot."
holes." Right.
Yeah.
And then
You're
he
right.
kind of goes down the list of all the things that have happened to all of them.
They're breaking
also have the
fourth
stunt
wall, kind of.
They also have the stunt in this one, right, where they drive the car on the bridge while it's falling or something.
Yes,
Kinda. And Mission Impossible,
And then
the
they
recent
shoot-
one, totally ripped that off with their train.
And then don't they shoot something and then swing the car around the
No,
bridge?
because this is my other bridge, Jump the Shark, that I'm like, oh, come on. The bridge is collapsing as Tej and Ramsey are like, somehow the car is attached to the bridge and keeps going up even though it's falling.
Right.
And then there's one wire still attached both sides of the thing. And then the car comes and somehow it accidentally just happens to get caught onto the tire as they're running over that part of the bridge, gets hooked to the tire, and then that swings them around
to safety.
bungee style. Yes,
as
to
you
safety.
do.
and able to drive off.
Oh,
And able to drive off.
And then, of course, can't forget, they build a car and launch it into space with the help of none other than
John Cena.
Lucas Black.
Lucas Black.
That's right. He volunteers.
Yeah, I like them.
And you're
Bow
like,
Wow coming back.
I love that Lucas Black is here. I wish he was like, they did him dirty. I can't believe he was the star of a whole episode in this franchise, and he's just like a tiny main character. He gets no screen time.
Yeah, he's barely in it
for one sequence.
True, especially when Tyrese and Ludacris are, the secondary characters in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's two.
Either way,
is in all these.
They didn't care, but they did it anyway. Because why not?
It just seems like he's your guy to fill in the role for.
He shows up on time. He did his job.
Maybe it's still because 3 gets so much flack. I think because of him.
Maybe.
I wonder if Vin Diesel doesn't like Lucas Black.
It could be a jealousy thing. I don't know.
Possibly.
This also feels like the first one where nobody said no to Vin Diesel at all. Right? Like he is the man on set. He gets to make every call.
He probably does.
Nobody can lead him. Like
he's an egomaniac. Oh, wild.
We failed to mention that Lil Bow Wow's character seems to know he's in a movie because in the third one,
they
breaks the fourth wall.
Oh my god.
He winks at the camera.
Yes, he does. When they did that, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, of course you do.
I mean, they had to have thought it was just over at that point. They didn't have anyone returning really.
You might as well be. And somehow some network exec saw it and said, more. We need more of that.
Well, there's the other scene that wasn't necessarily a crazy. Again, I'm so back and forth with these action scenes because do you call it a tank? What do you call the whole bus thing that Vin's like rolling down the hill and all this? Is it? I don't know what it's called. Let's just call it a bus. It's that whole big military vehicle. While, what's her name? Because we're on 9, right?
Yes.
Are we on 9? And that Cypher comes back and she's in the drone thing or whatever. And then it's rolling down the hill and then it just happens to stop just enough where he can drive it off. And then he slingshots the big vehicle into the drone and takes out the drone.
Something like that. Yeah. They are
I love the
obsessed with
taking out the
cars.
drone though, because I'm like, yes, but the fact that it rolls down the hill and then lands on all the tires and he's able to drive it off, that I don't believe.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man, I also forgot that John Cena's in this as Dominic's
John
brother.
Cena. Yeah, you don't buy that at all, but it's just funny because they go with it. They're like, because he really
With some
knows
flashback sequences. They're
he's in on
racers.
he's in on the joke, and yet at the same time he takes it so seriously still. So again, the tone and mood goes out the window.
You can't fault
I'm
him.
going
He's
to
doing his
kill
job.
you.
Yeah.
Oh no, but it's
I love
just, it's,
Cena.
it's just
Cena's
funny
great.
seeing him chew up the scenery. He's like, I'm gonna take everything you love.
He's really good at comedy. I will say that. I love.
Oh, yeah.
He's great because he's just all in on anything
Right.
he does.
Him and Batista are very underrated. If you
Yeah,
want
he's
to
like that
see
too.
any comedy he does, definitely see Peacemaker, but definitely see
He's
Sisters.
so good.
Yep.
Oh, cock blockers is hilarious.
That was fun with like Barinholtz, but if you want to see more of him, definitely see Sisters with him and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, where he's like
He's the drug
talented
dealer.
bodyguard. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm just minding my business. Yeah. Yes,
Because I liked the scene. I like showing the backstory between Dom and his dad. But the whole thing is when you go, they did mess up a little because I think it was the first movie where Mia's like, you're the only brother I've got.
I never had a dad, and
So
yet
apparently Mia didn't know she had another brother.
What she meant was he was.
What she really meant was, yeah.
He was no longer part of the family.
No longer part of the family.
Never spoken of. All right, I give this one a 2 point. I give this one a 3.
Awesome.
Out of 5.
Yeah, I had this 9th just because it's so
Awesome.
forgettable for me.
It's bad.
I couldn't remember anything that happened.
I like that
where you rank it?
it's in the back half of my 10, but I like it. It's my 7. I like that it has everybody in it. They just throw
everybody.
They
They
must have
probably
been
should have bumped it up just because Han came back.
Are you saying they listened to Elton John? Go ahead and tell everybody.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm gonna give it a negative 100 out of 5.
Negative 100. I didn't even know that was on the scale.
I am the worst. I'm off the scale, but it's a great party movie, and you should see it anyway. It just the Armageddon logic is too much in this movie.
I just remember the joy at the theater when I saw Han back on screen. I'm like,
oh yeah. John
if you're
Cena
watching these movies, you can't skip this one because you gotta see Tej and what's his name?
Roman. They go to space.
They go to space. You're gonna, if it's in space, you're gonna see it at least once.
And I mean, their scenes together are just hilarious. When the candy wrappers, he's like, "How much candy did you eat?" He goes, "I hate candy when I'm nervous."
Don't they get forgotten up there too?
They end up at the space station.
They leave them
that
up
was
there
the
on
part,
the space station. Yeah.
Again, that jumped the shark a little because it's like I'm fine with them being in the car, but when they get out of the car and are floating in space, I'm like, nope.
Weren't they using the steering wheel to like steer in space too?
I think that's right.
I think so. No, well, yes and no. They actually showed like the outside of the car.
But...
They showed they showed some of the thrusters like activating. So maybe
that's funny.
I think that we can assume that they became unofficially part of NASA, I believe, or their own space force. I don't know.
Okay, on to Fast X, which once again missed the layup of calling this Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Oh, and Charlize Theron comes back. I think she came back in this one, right?
Who did?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she gets beat up at the beginning.
She's still got the spiked hair. That's kind of weird to see.
Still wondering who she worked for.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say she's the same character as Atomic Blonde because they beat her up really bad, and then she gets back up like a cartoon character. Jason Momoa.
I was actually one member of their crew from the first movie that has never come back.
Something like that. Did you see the interview with Jason Momoa? How I forgot what it was on. It was either Kimmel or Fallon or one of those shows, and he was like he he deliberately, in order to make his mother and family members really hate his character, he dressed up in all their least favorite colors. So that's why he's wearing pink throughout the movie and other bizarre design choices. I'm like,
I thought
okay.
he was the best part of this movie.
He is
absolutely, and I don't buy that because he wears pink all the time. Like I follow him on it. I've met him.
All those
I've met him by the way, and he
was just
incredible.
like so funny and
he's not
weird
really
going for it
at all.
He's going for it.
I dug what he was.
He's like, I'm going to be the villain, but I'm not going to be a mean guy. I'm not going to be a mean villain. I'm just going to be crazy.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved the way they tied this to the fifth movie.
Yeah,
like reworking those scenes, showing him in the same scenes from five. Yeah,
son of all the cartel
guys. You
guys.
Forget The Rock just brutally murders his dad.
Yeah, he shoots him to death on the bridge.
Shoots him in the face.
Doesn't
I
even
didn't
read him
mind
his
that,
rights.
but don't they go back in time a few times to say that he was around?
Something like that, just to make it integrated.
Yeah, it does happen a couple.
Like
it went too far for me. That first one was fine, but man,
the bridge scene is really all you needed.
Yeah, and speaking of The Rock, he really does phone in him coming back because you can tell, he wanted to escape the franchise and now he has to come back because Black Adam bombed.
That movie is awful.
Yeah, but
my jaw hit the floor when he showed up at the end of this.
You weren't.
I agree. I had no idea.
None of us were expecting him to come back.
I went, what?
I thought their beef was still, all full force. I didn't know he was going to come back.
Have a couple bombs and things change.
Yeah. You got to remodel your brand. I think they should still just do faster or rundown too, but it probably won't happen. Brie Larson was pretty bad in this. She doesn't seem to know what movie
she was
in.
fine.
No,
really?
I can hardly even remember. I just watched this movie and I
given.
forgot what she was doing.
I mean, yeah,
her character just wasn't written well.
She wasn't given much, but she does seem to kind of, because you see her in those car commercials now, and it's like, do you know what kind of movie you're in, sweetheart?
I thought she did the best with what she was given. The best she could with what she was given.
That's probably true. Oh yeah, this movie had some turmoil. They started shooting, and then Justin Lin is back.
He and Vin didn't get along
and
anymore.
Then quits in like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, he and Vin were not getting along, and he decided, I'm done. I'm not going to get COVID over this.
Lettier.
I don't know the whole story. Maybe we never will. But how do you come back to a franchise that you've already directed 3 of? Like, everyone, what you're getting into, and it's so bad that in the 2 weeks that you're there, you're like,
I think they both
had
very big heads.
I mean, that's the difference between his last one was the 6th one. That's the ego.
No, he did. Justin did 9 too.
Yeah,
he did 5. He did
4, 5.
Oh yeah, he
6,
did do 9.
He did 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9.
Yeah.
I just have to imagine it was so toxic on set.
They still gave him. They still gave him writing credit on the movie.
Yeah, that's union stuff.
But yeah, Leterrier was best known.
That's not them being nice. That's contractual.
You might know Leterrier from the Transporter films and
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk, and Now You See Me. So I'm sure Statham called in a favor and said, "Hey, I know someone who's good with cars."
I love the Transporter movies.
I'm surprised that would be a plot twist if they reworked that and said, "By the way, this Shaw guy, he's been Frank Martin all along."
Well, that Collateral movie might be in the
Transporter
universe.
They do, yeah, they do work it in and imply that he's the Transporter.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it gives Tom Cruise a briefcase. In fact, do you think they'll cross this over with Mission Impossible at this rate?
No,
because they talked about it with Jurassic Park, and I was like, oh god, don't do that. Dinos and cars, why would you do that?
Right, I forgot that was news for a hot second.
I had not heard about that. That seems
Universal loves to tease. So
get out of here with that.
Get out of there.
So
maybe we won't be disappointed with what they do
Chris
decide
Pratt,
to do.
Keep your dinos away from our cars.
So this movie originally was going to be the final installment, and then they announced a sequel to this one. And then they announced 2 sequels to this one.
Much like Saw, they always claim it's the final chapter, and then they go back.
Let me tell you, there's a way to end a movie on a cliffhanger.
Oh.
And this movie is not that. This movie is a slap in the face to any Fast and Furious fan, any action movie fan. It doesn't end at a cliffhanger. It ends in the middle of Act 3.
I completely agree.
So
like you're setting up, and then roll the credits.
I
What?
agree.
Hold on. What? You didn't even finish the scene we were in.
I agree. This is not a good movie.
That's pretty weak.
It's not a good Fast and Furious movie, but it's
it upset me so deeply. I was mad at that.
Well, because I did not go in knowing that they were going to split it up. So I was like, this is going to be the last movie, whatever. And then I was like, what the hell? I was so mad.
It's been done recently. Dune had a cliffhanger.
They knew
even the same year. Mission Impossible had a cliffhanger where you knew another one was coming. But at least it ends in a way. The new Spider-Man movie did it.
I was worried about Mission Impossible. I loved the whole thing. I'm like, oh, they're going to stop it right now. They're going to stop it right now. And I was glad they had somewhat of a.
You can give it some closure,
but yeah,
you can have
there's
it
a
be
way
the end
to
of a
do
chapter. But they literally just stopped.
But it did it well. This was just mid.
This movie stopped mid-sentence.
Yeah.
It's like someone started a line and then didn't finish it.
I'm pretty sure the budget went more to Vin than it did to the writing. So
I have to believe they just wrote like a whole movie and decided, let's see.
Yeah.
Here's the middle page. Let's cut it off right here.
Here's what you got. Yeah. So it's not a good movie, but it is a good Jason Momoa performance.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
There's just something about him that I can't take my eyes off him. I'm a straight man, and I just find him very charismatic.
Did I mention I've met him a couple of times, and he's dreamy.
he's so mixed. He's got like some Asian in him, some Navajo, New Zealand.
He was like born in Iowa too, or something.
Iowa, yeah.
He lived there for a while, like near where I grew up.
He's
I have been a fan of his from the beginning. There was a show he did called North Shore, where he was like a surfer bartender at the beach in Hawaii, and then Stargate Atlantis, my favorite of all the Stargates.
He stole the show on. That's probably his best role before he got into the Aquaman Game of Thrones deal.
Game of Thrones,
Yep. But
he was on Game of Thrones. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. There you go. He was on Baywatch. Hell. But yeah. So anytime
another problem I had with this movie, Dom's kid is just like gleefully murdering people.
Yeah, what's that? So do you think for a future installment they'll have them starting off the session with like a therapy sit down?
Yeah.
They can't. They have to start it with the dam exploding over them.
Exactly.
Right.
If they do anything else, I think I'm out. Guys, I think I'm out. If they'll
probably start it at the beginning of that same scene, and we'll have to, because I'm sorry, the action in that scene was ridiculous anyway. I didn't like that whole scene at all, but that's probably they'll start at the beginning again, and we'll have to watch it.
These movies are definitely insane. So how do you recommend people get into this? Because definitely it's kind of like those Andy Sedaris movies. They're kind of even weirder than Michael Bay. It's very, very bizarre. How do you recommend people come in?
These are definitely worth a watch, I say. Watch it.
Yeah.
But I think you should watch
don't get me wrong. You're going to watch all of these.
Something worthwhile in it.
I think you should watch them in chronological order, though. It's much more rewarding. And but you're gonna have to look that up on Wikipedia to see what it is.
Which one do you think?
It's just 3 goes between 6 and 7.
No, don't get me wrong. You're gonna watch them all, regardless of where you watch.
But you got to watch them in order. You got to watch them in order. I wouldn't start anywhere else.
Which do you think is the ultimate party movie?
The biggest party movie?
Because it seems like part 5 and
5
7.
or 6. Those are the most fun, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
I say 6 is the peak. It's like the mount right in the middle, somewhere in there. You could make a good argument for 5.
I'm going to go with 5 as the peak, just because I feel like 6 kind of, like I said, I still love, on any given day, I will watch these movies over a lot of other movies. So when I say,
don't get me wrong,
they're a 1 or a 2, that's just out of these movies.
Yeah, you should have seen the previous chats Josh and I have done where we're like, why do people want to keep going to these horror movies that they're going to walk out of? Why do people want to see these action movies that drive them insane?
I always tell people, like I think I said this at the beginning, one is it brings you in, it like introduces you to the world. If you could just get past 2, I think is just a struggle for, and like I think so many people dropped out at 2, and it's just like they're like, I'm not going to pick that back up.
They're back though, because 7 and 8 made the most money, so everyone saw those.
True.
Yeah,
we're all back.
To be fair, the last one could flop, and they would still probably make a TV show for like HBO or Paramount.
The most recent one didn't do that well. Like, it made $700 million, but it cost $340.
I guarantee you.
And then that's not marketing or
compared
anything,
to some of their other success.
It made money, but it wasn't like a huge hit.
This is owned by Universal. I guarantee you, if NBC or Peacock wants to make a TV show, they'll probably make it.
That was a TV show called Fast Lane back in the
I see what you did there.
I love that movie. I mean that TV show. It was great, and it only got 1 season.
If they do a show of this, whose show will it be? It'll be a spinoff.
I think The Rock would want to do it.
I'd want it to be Han.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a 100% Han.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's what I'd be most interested in watching. But I think the show they would make is a Jordana Brewster spinoff. It would be kind of like, it's kind of boring.
It might be as bad as
watch sometimes.
It might be as bad as the bad.
But that's who they could get.
They made.
Yeah.
What about the whole Ramsey, Tej, and Roman?
I want to see a Ramsey
triangle
and Tez, like sitcom.
A sitcom. Okay, well,
hacker chick,
like a single camera. Yeah,
I mean,
laugh track and everything.
Tyrese Gibson might just do that. I don't know.
So funny.
Yeah, very wild. Very, very wild. Oh, who do you think has the biggest ego out of them? Is it Vin still, or is it still Tyrese, Statham, or The Rock?
Probably Vin.
Vin is
Statham really is known for his ego.
Vin Diesel is a black hole of ego.
But he and The Rock are more apparently.
I think it's The Rock.
The Rock.
You
can make a case for either.
I remember reading from people who worked on Hobbs and Shaw, but that they said like Statham and The Rock were trying to outdo each other in every scene, but it was more of a respectful, like just sparring.
That seems like more of a friendly rivalry.
That's why they decided to do it themselves, so they didn't have to deal with Vin's, suing.
I feel like The Rock has a little more because he's so charming, so I think it's easier for him to slide under the radar with his ego.
I think you're right, because I would have said Vin easy, but that's a really good point.
I think Vin. I think The Rock's a great guy too, because I have a friend that knows him pretty well, and he's a great guy. But I don't know.
Yeah, he does seem like a decent person. I mean, Vin does a lot of.
Haven't met
cool
Dwayne Johnson
too.
myself. He's a big teddy bear. He was so nice to everybody. I could.
I believe he is a great guy, but I think when it was just because isn't that what started the whole thing? It was like, well, I'm the one that made this franchise what it is today, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, I mean, The Rock coming back kind of like revitalized it all, so there's probably a little of that. I don't know.
Yep, it's tough to say. That's for sure. But all I know is just that Tyrese keeps having mental breakdowns on social media, and you're like, come on, dude, just take a break.
Apparently, I don't follow him. I don't know anything about his.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh no, I was just saying I don't know anything about his issues, so I need to.
And just a mental breakdown. I think he's having like a midlife crisis, and just like, you have a very privileged life. I think you can chill.
Well, the only time I've ever seen The Rock be mean in public was talking about his like rap album or something he did. He just
had a rap album.
Yeah, he did a rap music back in WWE.
And he's like cursing and like, no, the Tyrese like had an album.
Tyrese.
I don't know if it was a rap. It was some sort of music, whatever it was. I don't know, but he's just like cursing and shitting on it ruthlessly because he's pretty careful about his social media. He keeps it pretty PG. But he just lights him up.
Oh, so The Rock was talking about Tyrese's album. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's worth looking at. It's real mean.
He's very wild.
Yeah,
that sounds like he didn't realize that it was being recorded.
I think it's like a front facing, he was out for blood.
Maybe it was an inside joke we don't know about. Maybe Tyrese knew about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know because it seemed really out of character for The Rock.
It's tough to say. The dude goes for so many phases and having to recreate himself. I'm sure he has an identity crisis sometimes when he's like, I'm going to do this kind of public guy persona. What
else does Tyrese do these days? Does he do anything other than these movies?
He's done some direct video. Yeah, he's that, and
was he?
Yeah, he's like one of the cops or FBI guys or something.
He has some made for Redbox and internet action movies that he's done lately.
Nothing I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me either. Did they? This is kind of an off.
Oh wait,
question.
Black and
Did
Blue.
they?
Did you see Black and Blue? That was
No.
a Training Day type movie he did with Naomi Harris and Frank Grillo.
Did they film
love Grillo.
Morbius at
I
one
do.
of the same locations they filmed?
Oh man, I did see Tyrese in another movie. It was
Oh.
called Morbius.
the
The moviest movie of that year.
Oh no! Oh,
Forgot about that. What was
He
your
was all-
question?
He was in Legion too.
I think the scene where they first go into the cave in Morbius, is that the same location that was in one of these movies? I think 9 maybe, when they're on that island trying to get the Ares thing. I don't know.
I'll tell you that.
It just
All I
looked
know
the
is
same.
I thought
Oh,
Tyrese
is that the
was
one
supposed
where
to
he's like, we're superheroes, like we can't be killed?
Exactly. We're invincible.
I'm not sure. Oh my god.
I enjoy noticing where things are located or were shot, because I'm that person. I go to where The Walking Dead was filmed all the time. So
Oh, gotcha. Seeing if they got that part of it right.
yeah.
Oh, he was in the Transformers movies for a while.
He was. He apparently nearly walked off because
Right.
it wasn't like he thought it would be, and he realized, oh, I'm not the star. The robots are, and apparently Will Smith had to tell him, "You got to come back, dude. I just got you that kick."
Was it the ones with Shy or the ones with
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, the
Shia.
early
He's
ones.
in like the first 3 years.
He was a
Gosh, I
military
don't-
guy.
Yeah, military guy, yeah. And he was in Legion, which I also don't recommend, where him and Dennis Quaid are killing demons. It's very weird. It's very dumb. It's very bad.
Him and Dennis Quaid. I don't know
Yeah.
that movie.
It's kind of like a bad version of Evil Dead, where he's like,
Isn't
"What's
there
going on?"
isn't there another movie called Legion with Paul Bettany? Or is
That's
that
the, that's the
Priest?
one. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie, but I love Paul Bettany. So
Well, yeah, Bettany was good.
Dennis
Lucas
Quaid
Black's
was in
that too.
Yeah, he's like one
Lucas
of the top.
Black's in it as well.
Is
Are
he
they
really?
Are they the
Yeah, he's
people
in
at
Legion.
the cafe or whatever?
The casting director from Fast and Furious must have worked on it. Borrowing
He
the
was
same actors, baby.
He was
Sorry, go
getting
ahead.
all his friends on set with him.
Yep. Come hang out. You get to kill demons. You'll make money. So Josh, what do you got coming up on your show that you'd like to promote?
We've been on a little bit of a hiatus because I started this other job and it's taken up all my time. But football season's almost over, so we'll be coming back in the new year.
Bring it
both
back,
shows.
y'all. Bring it back.
Yeah, both shows are coming back.
Awesome. Rick, any film that you can promote now that the writer strikes are finally over?
Oh man, just my own. Go watch my movie. It's called Solid Rock Trust. You can
Yes.
watch
I'm gonna check that out
Roku.
tomorrow.
You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Tubi. You can watch it on
To be or
Amazon
not to
Prime.
be. Yes.
Yeah, it's a cool bank heist movie that you were gonna like. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. People really dig it so
The
far.
claustrophobic nature is off the charts. It's very
Super
entertaining.
fun. Lots of twists. Lots of fast talking and stuff you won't see coming. Surprises. So check it out. I would love for you to go leave me a review on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or something. If you
Absolutely.
guys watch it. Check it out.
And Kathy, anything you want to promote in any way that you're involved with?
Actually, yeah, a little bit. They just released a new action film face-off podcast that I guest host on.
I love
over
that
on-
show. I was on there too. Yeah, very cool
on
guys.
Longbox Crusade Network. This episode we talk about Detonator with Wesley Snipes, and
I love that Wesley Snipes film. Oh my god,
a movie with Rutger Hauer, and I can't think of the name of it.
they're
right
really good for direct to video, which says a lot.
now. Yeah. And then that's the show I guest on, and then it should be coming out soon. The show I host called
You're-
LBC Irregulars, a Sherlock
sweet.
Holmes podcast. It's about the 1980s to 90s Sherlock Holmes series on about with Jeremy Brett as Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
So
lovely.
that episode should be coming out in the next week or two.
Please share that link. I'd love to promote that Sherlock Holmes podcast.
Absolutely.
This was very fun, y'all. And I figured, we knew going in this was going to be a very divisive movie franchise, but it was just very fun because it's just how wacky do you want your Fast and Furious?
Most
How
importantly is we
cartoon-
all agree that we actually all love these movies. So
Yeah, I think we were all on the same page. As
I
far as
go
this
into
franchise
the
goes.
I'm a trashy movie guy, so I love all kinds of just goofy stuff that even if you don't think it's great, you're gonna watch it a few times anyway, just because it's just very bizarre. They are a perfect example of you can't take your eyes off it.
It's
Hey,
amazing spectacle. So
and you
much
can-
money on the screen.
It is
you
a
can edit
Ford
this out.
commercial.
You can edit this out, but proof that how much I love movies, I broke my foot at the beginning of a 5-movie marathon for Twilight and
dear.
still stayed for all 5 movies. So
Oh no!
I'm a movie.
Okay, how did you break it? I gotta know.
I fell down the stairs.
Nice.
Oh no.
I thought it was just a really bad sprain, but the next
Did
day
you know
I went,
it was? Yeah. Did you know it was broken? Like the bone was out.
No, I did.
She's
I
like,
did not
I'm
know.
here. I paid
did
for these
not-
tickets.
That's
did
a,
not know
that's
it
a
was
true
broken.
fan, though. You played through
Don't
the
feel
pain.
any shame. Like what you like. It doesn't matter.
Oh
There's-
yeah.
There have
Power
been
through, though. That's
awful
respect.
comedies that I've laughed at, even though they are awful. Like a perfect example of like I'm not laughing with you, I'm laughing at you would probably be something like Wild Wild West, or just other Fast and Furious knockoffs like Biker Boys, where you're like, why does this fucking
Oh, I
movie
love-
exist?
I love Biker Boys. I
Well,
love
you're in
motorcycles.
luck. Troy of Not a Bomb actually cried at that movie. You'll find that funny. Check that review out. I don't understand it, but hey, there are just those movies.
Although as far as
I love
motorcycle
Ballistic
movies,
X versus Sever. and it's got
as far as
0%.
motorcycle movies, Torque is a lot better than Biker Boys.
Torque is outrageous, just with the Ice Cube puns. You're just like, what's going on here? I'm actually surprised Ice Cube isn't in this. He came back in Triple X. Bring him into Fast and Furious. There's no shortage of rappers in these movies.
That's how we get the good music, probably.
I guess so. Yo, yo, yo. Next thing you know, Ice-T is going to be a space pirate, or maybe they'll bring Megan Thee Stallion into the next one. I don't know.
Oh, and what's her name? Cardi B was in these movies too.
Yeah,
we
what was
her.
she? She was playing like a NSA agent, I think, in part 9 or something.
Something like that, or 9, because it was the one. She was in the van when they were picking him up from Jacob's house.
You guys are also in luck. The podcasters on Munson's at the Movies half of them are teachers, and one of them teaches a film appreciation class, and one of them literally just watches all the Fast and Furious movies with his students and has them take notes.
I would not pay for that class.
I mean, it can't hurt, I guess. It'd be interesting to see how many research papers are in that class. It's like, this movie does or does not work, or it's so good it's bad.
I mean, it can teach you the good and the bad of filmmaking, though.
And how it's just that gray line. It's like, okay, it may not be good, but I watch it all the time. So there you go. There you have it. Okay.
Guys, I loved talking about this franchise with you tonight.
I know.
Absolutely.
I had fun. It was nice to meet y'all. All of y'all. I haven't met anybody on here.
I mean,
same. It was a blast.
And basically, this basically created all these filmmakers' career. Like Justin Lin went on to do a Star Trek movie, and it was basically Fast and Furious in space, And Rob Cohen, he pretty much never got away from this. He's like, I got to keep doing another movie like the first Fast and Furious or Triple X, Oh.
I think Justin Lin, if I'm not mistaken, I think he directed some Backstreet Boys videos back in the day as well.
I would not doubt it. I know
before he was ever into movies.
He did some of the paintball episodes of Community, so you got that going for you.
He just makes fun movies to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I know Community star Joel McHale says he watches these, the Die Hards and Born Identity movies all the time, and he drives his wife crazy because he won't stop watching them. Oh, always
There's
a blast.
nothing wrong with a great action movie.
You gotta love what you love and make time for it. I mean, I binge watch all the Equalizers, so what do I know? There's something about seeing Denzel Washington take out the trash that I just admire. I don't know what it is.
He takes out the trash better than anyone I've ever seen.
Somehow, even a bad Liam Neeson movie, I'll watch a few times. There's just something about his charisma. I don't know.
Well, I would love to be included if y'all ever have another one.
You mentioned Mission Impossible. I promise I will let you guys know. I'm just waiting for the last one to come out before
I'm down for some
we got to
Mission
see it. We
Impossible
got to wait
talks.
for Tom Cruise to die on screen first before we conclude the whole movie.
Absolutely not.
I'm just kidding. I know that's not going to happen, but that's the joke.
He may be crazy, but that man can make
for a
some
while
good,
they were
good
saying
movies.
that Jeremy Renner was going to take it over. I'm like, how? Why?
Yeah, they tried to have Jeremy Renner take over franchises for a while there.
He did.
With the Bourne movies and that.
He tried to take it over with Hawkeye, and he didn't do anything. And it's
I
like,
forgot
okay.
he did one of the Bourne movies. Did he do the last Bourne movie?
No, the second to
Second
last.
to last. He was Aaron Cross. What's funny is they kind of pulled a James Bond on that one, where there is actual I'm actually going through all the Jason Bourne books because newsflash, they're actually making new Bourne books about the Treadstone division, and Universal actually just announced they're actually going to do a new installment with that franchise. But
whoa,
yeah, much like there's a new Planet of the Apes finally coming out after the Disney takeover, they're still making Jason Bourne movies. But I found it interesting how there is actually a Bourne Legacy book, but much like James Bond, they didn't follow any of the story. They just took the title because it's the fourth book. Always a blast having you guys on here. And Kathy, great having you on here as well. But
thank you so much for inviting me. Hopefully, I never feel prepared
hopefully
enough
I
for
didn't
these.
come off as too cranky when I'm just a very sarcastic guy.
No, not
so.
I hung out with the rugby team in college. I don't
rugby team. So, do you guys prefer to call that soccer or like the baseball name football?
Oh well, I think rugby's rugby.
Rugby's just rugby, yeah.
Rugby's just rugby. Okay, but with soccer though, would you just call it soccer?
I call it soccer because I live in the United States. We call it soccer. So.
I just find that so many people still have that debate. I'm like, well, I could go either way on that. It's fun. That's really all that matters.
I work at a PT clinic, and both of my the PTs that work there both play soccer. They call it soccer. So
you're wrong, Ted Lasso. It's just called soccer.
I work in American football, so that's my stance.
Yeah. Tell us what, for the sports guys out there, what can you share any of your predictions?
Check out Pro Football Focus.
Pro Football Focus, is where Josh's new day job. I'm so happy for him because even though it's taking up a lot of your time, you're way better off.
It's killed my other stuff, but I'm getting back into it.
You're way happier than you were at your previous gig, where you're just
that was a low bar to clear.
This is eating my soul,
Yeah.
And here I am.
Turns out finance isn't good for your soul. Who knew?
No, take it to the bank, but not that way. And how is it like predicting these various football matches?
So it's not really predicting; it's gathering all the data and all that,
analyzing.
Yeah, because their clients are like every NFL team, every FBS team.
Oh,
they're
comparing.
They're kind of like the gold standard of that. They're a little bit like the Moneyball football. Like they just found a better way to value players.
I'm strictly a college football fan. I can't get into pro.
Oh, well, what college football teams are you following?
Oh, I'm an Auburn University grad, so that's my team, ride or die.
Ride or die.
We blew.
Did you really just bring this back to Fast and Furious? Ride or die.
Absolutely. And so that's why I was telling, I couldn't watch because our big rivalry game was today. And so I don't watch because my heart can't handle it. And people are just downright awful on social media.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Right before this, about 30 minutes before this, the game was over.
Half the time they're not even watching the game. They're just talking trash. And just like, you don't even watch like these guys. You're just talking shit, dude.
So I was not in a pleasant mood when this all started. So I'm glad this got my brain away from.
I'm glad we could deflate all that negativity. Holy shit! I thought IMDb and Facebook were the worst. Holy shit. So predictions. What's next for this franchise? Is Vin going to become a Terminator? Is there going to be some other? What crazy actor would you like to see in this franchise?
I'm afraid. Do y'all think they're gonna kill him off?
No.
You don't think so?
I think it's in his contract, like Jamie Foxx. He can't die in a movie.
His ego is way too big to.
I think they'll keep churning through pro wrestlers though.
He might lose an. I will bet you he'll lose an arm, and then he'll have a mechanical arm in the next one.
But they say these two are the final ones. Y'all don't believe it? Y'all don't think 13 is going to be the last one?
They're going to do spinoffs or something.
They keep making money, and I think they'll keep coming back as well.
You can say whatever you want. They don't really mean it. It's the last one until it's the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they have to stop sometime. Don't they?
Just
if they stop making money, I think they'll stop.
Until
I think that'll be it. I could see
Hasbro. You're gonna watch all these movies,
I could see 13 being the end, just because I don't know if they're gonna be as big anymore. They might be costing more to make.
Yeah, this last one didn't really probably make that much money. You never know how much marketing was.
It kind of doubled what its budget was, but.
$350 million doesn't.
Vin Diesel's. He's my age, or he may. Is he 50s? Is he 50?
He's
Maybe
gotta
he's younger
be
than
almost.
Maybe he's young.
I think. Let's look it up. How old is Vin Diesel?
I'm gonna say 51.
They could always cross
47.
it over. 56. Oh
56.
my god.
Yay! Somebody's older than me.
Michelle
Woo!
Rodriguez is 45. Dwayne Johnson is 51. I can't believe that. Oh
I'm older than The Rock. Good Lord. What am I doing with my life?
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, they could always have it cross
I
over
guess-
with Now You See Me or Ocean's 11. I don't know.
That's my question is like, if they continue, it's got to be without the main folks, right?
They could have done the
are we going to
Expendables,
care?
but the last one really flopped really hard, so they're definitely not making any more of those.
And
Are we gonna
outside of The
care?
Rock, no one's like a huge like get, out of the main cast, anyways.
Right.
Yeah, because as we said earlier, Tyrese is doing a lot of direct-to-video action movies. So
Yeah, like Han's a good actor, but he's not like A-list.
yeah,
Like,
I've
everything.
liked him in some of his indie drama and crime movies, but he's just not really a leading man. So
He should be more popular.
he
Well,
should.
maybe it's
I
because they're
just-
typecast and nobody wants to mess with
They
them.
kind of
because-
are typecasting him as the Oriental guy. Michelle Rodriguez, I will watch her in anything, whether it's garbage like Resident Evil or what have you, or
She was fun in
Avatar.
that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
She really was good in it.
Oh, I did
she
not.
stole it. She stole every scene. Oh my god!
I was so disappointed. I'm a big Chris Pine fan.
Really? Okay. No. I
Mhm.
think I think they'll do better on the second one, just because that was kind of just to show what they could do. Because for a while they were making trashy Dungeons and Dragons TV movies. It was just like, stop.
Well, and I don't know why, because I love I'm a girl. I grew up in the '80s, like Dragon Slayer. I love that movie, and it's
That's
super,
a good one.
You
Oh
know,
my god.
that's super cheesy.
Yeah. Well, dragon movies in general are just fun. But
Rain of
I
Fire
agree.
is still the best dragon movie.
yes, it is. Oh my god.
By far.
Really, is that the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Yes.
It is
McConaughey.
McConaughey. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so insane.
Because the dragons are incredible.
Is
Yeah.
that's the one? Is Christian Bale in that one too?
Yep.
Yes,
that's
he
the
is.
one.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
you
in
got
the
it.
future.
It's something.
Fantasy's probably my top genre. Fantasy, sci-fi, and then action probably.
That sounds about right.
I'm that nerdy chick that I haven't read the Lord of the Rings books. I've tried, but
No, it's
I'm just
fine.
too
Love
v-
what you
I'm
love,
just-
dude.
that's what all those. Well,
I got into the books way later. I had
those
only
are
read The Hobbit.
Those are
for
my
mine.
Game of Thrones right there. My Funkos.
There you go.
This is my Lord of the Rings wall over here.
Sweet. This was a delight.
Absolutely.
I'll let you guys blow the roof off your respective places. Party till you can't party.
Bye. It was nice to meet y'all.
Thanks,
Always-
guys. Have a
Yeah,
great
same.
night.
I'll keep you updated when it hits. Take care.
Sounds good.
Right.
Bye.
Take care.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up